What's up, good people? What's up, good people? Welcome to the show. I sound a little loud and echoey to me. Sound like I need to. Oh, yeah. Hold up, hold up. Hello, hello. Testing, 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 testing. I think that sounds a little better. I think that sounds better. I think I was sounding too. Yeah, I was almost on that spectrum. But now let me get it right about right there. I think right there is fine. I think right there I could talk at a normal voice and sound normal. But all right, here we go. Here we go. Y'all let me know if I think I need to tweak something a little more with my sound settings. But shout out to everybody in the building. Y'all know what's going on. Disney just in time for Stepdaddy season. They they coming through throwing a hat in the race for Stepdaddy season. So I had to cover this as a former stepdaddy. As a former stepdaddy, yes, I felt the need to weigh in on this topic. So we about to get into it. Y'all know what time it is. Y'all know how we do. So let's get ready to go. And where's it at? Where's it at? There's the intro. Let's get it.
Peace, folks. This is X from TPOT Media. Open your mind and wake your black ass up. You know what time it is. Hit that damn like button as you make your way in the door. Grab a seat, settle in, get ready. It's the Grown Man Hour with your host, my man, Bernard Riley.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Mumia Obsidian Ali. You know who I am. I need no introduction, right? And you're listening to the Grown Man Hour with my man Bernard Riley, heard weekdays right here on YouTube. What do you think about that? How about that? Now let's get back on with the show. Thank you.
All right. What's up, good people? Welcome back. We are in the building, in here, live and direct. You know what time it is. I'd like to thank everybody for coming in the building. Right now, before we even have gotten started, I see 45 people in the building. Hit the like button. Let people know that you're here. Hit that like button and let people know that you are here and in the building. Appreciate each and every one of you once again. This is I'll be forgetting what day it is. I almost said happy Tuesday. It is Wednesday, right? Happy Wednesday. Hump day. I hate the term hump day, but happy Wednesday to everybody. Shout out to Gail Lockett in the building. Says, oh yeah, no doubt. Mike and Vince Perkins in the building says they keep trying to make ninjas stepdaddies. Nah, bitch. Don't have me cussing this early. Don't have me cussing this early. I know I try to keep it halfway clean in the first hour. Try to keep it halfway clean in the first hour of the show. Shout out to Logan JJ. He says, I bet $5 Boyce Watkins and Russell Wilson's is doing the voiceover for the father. That's a good one. That's definitely a good one. Shout out to Paul Game in the building. Says, I wonder who are the creators and producers and directors. I really mean color and gender of them. Well, one thing that Pixar normally does, and they did this when they made the movie Soul, where the guy was voiced over as a music teacher, trying to find his way, trying to get his big break. He was voiced over by Jamie Foxx. Basically, their normal writers came up with the story and wrote it, but they did enlist a brother to come on and help out. And he ultimately, like he came up and created, essentially the barbershop scene. He added his influence, but it was still a lot of stuff in there that I didn't like. The way how the dude was, middle-aged man who mama's still telling him what to do. There's a lot of stuff in there that I didn't like, but it was a brother who was on the team. It was a brother who was on the team and part of, making major decisions. They know to have a go no go person in the room, and so the no go person quite often says go on a lot of the stuff that we end up not liking. But is what it is. They're creating their projects. They're creating their projects. They're doing what they want to do with it. I have a different take. I want to get into my take on that. There's a number of things I'm about to get into. But shout out to Paul Game in the building. Shout out to Falcon Black. He says, how many stepdaddies in this space fake outraging? Well, I haven't listened to enough people content to really hear people fake outraging. And I hate when people make statements like the one you made, even though I know it was made with good intentions. You have to, is the person who's outraging, is he currently a stepdaddy, and what's his current position on stepdaddyism? If somebody who's not a stepdaddy and thinks that brothers shouldn't be doing that, he could have something to say about this. So you don't want to make the mistake that they make when they just lump all this together as one big guy, and then one person says one thing is like, look at him in contradiction. Like, no, you gotta look at what you gotta follow the thought pattern, the consistent or inconsistent thought pattern of the individual. Like, that's something we gotta make sure that we're not doing to people in this space. Otherwise, we end up making bad arguments too. So I haven't heard. I personally haven't seen anybody being inconsistent. Shout out to Soul Provider. Shout out to everybody in the building. It was a funny comment that I'm trying to work my way down to. He said, get some stepdaddies on the panel. I want to hear someone defend this. Oh, yeah. That's part of the plan. I on the thumbnail, if you look at my thumbnail, I put right where it says Marvel, Disney, Pixar, or whatever the other, monikers that Disney, got under their belt. I've made like a little similar font, a logo with a similar font, and put like SYSBM, and then found another slightly similar font, put Passport Bros on there. So on the thumbnail, I got SYSBM and Passport Bros on there, and it is some of them that have married women from overseas, and they those women had children, or the woman had children, and they said they have no problem with it. Why? Because they're getting a better deal. The juice is worth the squeeze. There's a trade-off. I've heard some of them make that argument, and I hopefully they'll come up and do so today. Shout out to Pablo. Shout out to Pablo. I'm not outing him. This is public information. He he said it. He said it loud and clear that yes, he married a baby mama from, I always forget where his wife is from. Let's just say the DR. Yeah, he said he did it. And he said he had no problem with it. He said if his options over here was an overweight baby mama with a bad attitude, he got a younger, hotter baby mama with a great attitude. That was his argument. So we probably will end up talking about that. And shout out to Deacon Dave. The Sage Begins says, Bernard with the waves in the background. I see you. Thank you very much. Brian Washington says Brittany Renner did say it was stepdaddy season. Oh yeah, that's why that's in the title. Shout out to everybody in the building. See, we got 100 people in here. I love when I can get 100 early. I like to get it fairly earlier, but if I can get 100 right now, then I know it's time to start the show. It's time to start the show. But Falcon Black in the building says, to be fair, in my locale, London, UK, I've seen more white men. I'm going to get into that. I've seen more white men stepping up to daddy. But I wasn't going to get into that. I've seen more white men stepping up to daddy black kids and wife up former ratchets. That ain't where I was going with it. Where is that funny? Shout out to you. Appreciate you coming through with the first super chat of the day. Appreciate everybody who supports the stream. Shout out to you for putting 5. Shout out to you for that. It was a funny comment that I want to properly acknowledge the individual who made it. I cannot find it. It says something like this film was produced by, what did it say? It said this film was produced by Brittany Renner. I don't know if it said Boyce Watkins or I forgot. I cannot find it. It says Bernard, back from the camera, brother. You got that 8K joint. I can see every one of those ways. And yeah, thank you. I cannot find that comment. It was a funny comment. And if I was, Brittany said Brittany, executive producer of the film. Man, see, I wish I would have had that in my head, because when I made the thumbnail, I would have put producer, executive producer. I would have had Brittany Renner, Russell Wilson, Boyce Watkins. I would have found a nice cast of people who were producers, executive producers, directors, all of that. I would have tricked that out pretty nice. So shout out to you with that idea. I wish I would have thought of it. But all right, let's get into it. Shout out to SKC. Says, what does SYSBM have to do with this? I'm curious. I'm trolling you. No. I was going to spark a conversation. So I put SYSBM and Passport Bros in there because the argument has been made by people in SYSBM and Passport Bros is that dealing with a woman of another culture, how do I want to make sure I'm still manning? I want to make sure I'm still manning the argument. If you're going to deal with a woman with children, if you're doing that in Black America, you're dealing with one with probably overweight with an attitude, a couple baby daddies, versus the deal that you get when you go over there. I mean, Pablo has made this argument. Pablo's ultimately made this argument that it's a better deal. He's married a baby mama, but she's young, fit, in shape, and has a great attitude. If the juice is worth the squeeze, it's a deal he can. It's a deal he will accept. So it's a question that I was going to put on the table towards the end when I open it up. Do SYSBM Passport Bros look at this the same way that a lot of brothers are looking at it and seeing it as a problem? That's what I want to get at. I wanted to cheese that out. But let me work my way to it. But shout out to SKC. Appreciate you coming through.
These last $2, I'm not gonna lose.
He says, no disrespect to Pablo, but that's not an SYSBM talking point. Okay, well, it must be a Passport Bro talking point. It must be a Passport Bro talking point. It was I was slightly being funny. I'll reconsider moving that down. After the conversation we have, I'll reconsider taking that out of the thumbnail after the conversation, after the panel opens up and the discussion becomes, more broad. Because I don't like to misrepresent folks. However, that is a man who has a family now with an Asian woman. I mean, how I don't know how we don't draw a connection. I don't know how you look. If they would have just put together a film and didn't have the other woman's kids in it, didn't have nothing about stepdaddyism in it. It was just a woman who, I don't know, let's say she was married and her husband died and she found love in a black man. Let's just say that was the case. Yeah, I would be like, oh, Disney's going SYSBM. Okay, they sprinkle some Asian kids in it. It's like, oh, no. But there's a lot of people who claim SYSBM or Passport Bros who are married to women from other cultures with children. So it's a conversation. It's a fair conversation. But we're going to get into that. We're going to get into that. There's a number of things. I know SYSBM or not, dudes be messing with single moms, and some are being stepdaddies. So, yeah. We about to get into that. It was a number of things. See, we didn't went down this rabbit hole too early. I didn't get to ease into the first part of what I wanted to talk about because I am a fan. I'm an admitted fan of the animated movies for children. Part of it is because I my kids grew up in the era. Hey, shout out to Little Big Nate. Hey, hit me up, man. I forgot about you. I've been so busy trying to get things going here. I forgot about your channel ban strike. Is it 1 week long this time? Just let me know the situation. And hey, you need me. You know how we do. You know how we do when they take your channel, man. I'm here for you. I just been so scrambling trying to get this together. I forgot about your situation, but yeah, I don't know if you back up and running or when you expect to be back up and running. But let me know something, Little Big Nate. Talk to me. But yeah, I'm an admitted fan of these animated children's movies. My kids grew up right in the era when they started getting good. Like I was getting my stepdaddy on to a kid that was born in the year of 2000. My first biological child was born in the year 2002. So it was around 2003, 2004 when the Incredibles and all that stuff came out, and I was like, man, these little animated movies, they getting good. They getting good. Like I was watching them with my kids and I was getting wrapped up and enjoying them. So I do like to follow and keep up with these things. Okay. I do like to follow and keep up with the kids' movies because even then, even when I was very liberal, I started noticing a lot of subtle messaging that didn't really bother me. I didn't think that much of it back then. But right now, when I look back at it or when I look at stuff now, it's a lot of things in there that they try to slip in there. Their ultimate goal is to use their media platforms, their movies, to ultimately normalize things. That's ultimately what they try to do. Ideas, concepts, ideologies, they try to normalize it in one way or another. And I talked about this. In the movie Brave, it was a woman. She was, a young girl. She was a princess. She was to be wed to somebody who would be her prince. But they had to compete for her. They had to go through, who could shoot the arrow the best, or do this, or fight a bear, or whatever they had to do. It was almost like an Olympics tournament to win the young princess. And she didn't want to marry none of those guys. So she entered her name into the tournament and she competed and shot her arrow and did all the feats and everything. And she won the competition and married herself. The end. Like they put that in a Disney Pixar movie. So they've been working to normalize a lot of stuff, a lot of ideas, a lot of concepts. It was recently a commercial. I just saw it 2 days ago with Rapunzel, where she essentially basically, okay, do I got that pulled up? I don't want to play it because it just reeks of copyright strike. It just reeks of copyright strike. But shout out to the internet. I think I'm gonna try to play it without the sound. I do want to throw this out there. Hold on. I'm gonna play it without the sound, and I'll just narrate what happened here. I'll narrate what happened or what was being said. All right. This is Rapunzel. Some of y'all may have seen this. This is Black Rapunzel. Okay. She's sitting up there, and it was basically saying she was sitting up there waiting on her prince to come and save her. But who has time for that? That was how
Once upon a time, there
the
lived a prince.
story started. Hold on, let me make it so where we can't hear it. So yeah, it was once upon a time. It was a girl. I don't even think they use the name Rapunzel, which I can see that's Rapunzel with the long hair that go all the way down to the forever. It says she's waiting up there for her prince to save her, but who has time for that? And so she, what did she do? What did she do? So she got on her phone and she ordered a ladder from Amazon. That's what she did. She ordered a ladder from Amazon because she don't have to wait on anybody. She could do whatever she wants to do, essentially. And so she ordered her ladder for it's an Amazon Prime commercial, but they're working in ideas. Remember I said, it's about what they attempt to normalize. They're really just selling, go on Amazon and buy whatever you need, and it'll be brought to you in one day. Easy, quick, fast, instant shipping. That's really what the commercial is about. But in the midst of that, they're saying, she don't need a guy to come and save her. She could do it all by herself. Who needs a man? And then so the ladder showed up. There's a ladder. Y'all could just barely see that. I'm trying hard not to get a copyright strike, but there's the ladder right there. Y'all can see that, how the ladder just appeared, and then she climbed down and she saved herself. Oh, and they had like some Beyonce or some Cardi B in the background, basically like playing like some boss some boss biatch music in the background, the whole works. And so she got on and rode off on her horse to save herself. And then she because she had that long hair to go like 20 yards or whatever, and then they're like, and here she is. She went on, she saved herself, and she started her thriving hair business. And then she basically said she's just a big mogul who took over the world, not waiting on a man to come save her. She went and saved herself. And the closing line in it was they was basically the closing line in it. They was like, oh, and the prince that was supposed to save her, where is he? Who cares? And then just closed it out with her just walking real baddie boss bitch style with some Beyonce, Cardi B, or Nicki Minaj or something playing in the background like that. So I'm saying all of that to say that. Oh, and by the way, shout out to the general public, because people get it. Look at these look at that dislike to like ratio. Look at that dislike to like ratio. Oops. But I don't dislike nothing, by the way. See, I even feel funny disliking that. Well, okay, no, I'll go ahead and contribute. I don't dislike videos. But that's out there, and that happened. And in the comment section got it. Somebody says, next day at UPS, Rapunzel, hi, I would like to return this ladder. Somebody else said, I just might sign up to Prime to cancel it again. I'm sure corporation, and she will live happily ever after. I don't know what you mean right there. He says, the witch, a female character, is the one who locked Rapunzel in the tower. And then this guy, this one was funny. It says, I don't need to wait for anyone to save me. Amazon, can you can you bring me a ladder? 2 to 3 day shipping is fine. It said, Disney, write that down, write that down. It was like, this checks all the boxes, which it did. Like it was just smattering just of just talking points, just thrown out there, making sure they cover every, feminist talking point, try to jam it into 30 seconds of a commercial. Somebody said they simply can't uplift one group without attempting to pull down another. That, in essence, is my main issue with this modern social justice movement. Like the comment section, let it happen. It says Rapunzel doesn't need saving. Also, Rapunzel relies on someone to save her. Yeah, well, hold on. Somebody else worded that better. He said this commercial is sending a beautiful message. Golden hair, white women rescued by a prince. Black girls have to buy a ladder. It was another one. Okay, yeah. Ironic. She doesn't need a man so she orders an Insta ladder from a company whose existence was created by a man. It's like the general public get subliminally what was going on there, and they responded appropriately. I love when I see what appears to be a non-manosphere comment section getting it right. I love when I see that. It says this commercial is a subliminal message for Black women to be strong, independent queens who don't. Now, this person is part of the sphere. He put that KWEENZ in his spelling of queens. Yeah, he be in this space, whoever this is. Strong, independent queens who don't need a man. It's essentially saying, don't fall in love, be a worker bee. Now, I don't take the full race aspect of this. I don't do that, and the reason I don't is simply because, like I said, with the movie Brave, that was a redheaded white girl who competed against the guys, and the guys who are supposed to be competing to marry her, to marry the princess. She entered her name on the ballot and competed in the tournament and defeated all the guys, and archery, bow and arrow shooting, and even some combat, if I'm not mistaken, and then married her so she can marry herself. Like that was Disney Pixar that did that like 8 years ago. Oh, probably more than that. So they've been on this. We remember the Kay Jeweler commercial, where they ultimately basically had a guy looking like he was, talking to a father, saying, asking for permission to marry the daughter. But in all actuality, when they panned the camera over, we saw that, oh no, he was actually talking to this woman's child. This was a white man marrying a white woman. He was asking for some 6-year-old boy's permission to marry the mom. He didn't go ask the father for permission. He asked the bastard baby for permission to marry the mom. So all I'm saying is, I don't do the whole black thing. Look how they depicting us. Look what them. Look how them depicting us. I don't go that route with this, because this goes back to what Theo. Remember when we had with Theo on the panel, Gabe A on the panel, we were talking about the Manosphere meetup, and Theo came up, said, what does conservatism have to do with tech? And I pointed out that there are plenty of outfits, and I made one up, but I didn't even realize I was so spot on, because it's actually the reality with Black Girls Code. With Black Girls Code, the actual reality of that, it's a very liberal feminist organization that's also teaching Black girls to code and trying to basically hope that their feminist, I am woman, hear me roar sentiments that they can put into these girls while teaching them how to code, and they could take all that I am woman, hear me roar, and go take over the coding business. They're connecting political ideologies along. Excuse me. They're connecting political ideologies along with whatever agenda or whatever they're trying to accomplish, or whatever they're trying to put out there. They're also trying to inception people with certain ideas. So it all comes a matter of what are you normalizing on your media platforms? What are we normalizing on our media platforms? Are we growing and building our media platforms to the point to where we could even rival something like that? Now, right now, there aren't people. Is nobody? We're at the early phases of just converting people just to a different way of thinking before we even get to the point to where there are people that think like us, making short films, short animated films. So that's almost light years away. But it is a fair thing to ask: what are you normalizing on your platform? There are things that Kevin said, like for example, this is what I'm talking about, and this is where we are doing good. This is where the Manosphere has broken some ground with you look at Kevin Samuels, who his spark, his blowing up, his everything was essentially the Kevin Samuels phenomenon was birthed in the Manosphere. Okay, he's using his giant media platform to do this. When he sees a picture of a woman, posting a picture of her pregnant baby her pregnant belly, he'll just drop a comment to, oh, I didn't know you were married, and he's trying to normalize that. Okay, it's about what you're trying to normalize. He's trying to get guys, millions of followers, to when they see a woman posting a picture on Facebook, Instagram with a pregnant baby, no man around, no evidence that she was ever even in a relationship with anybody. She just posting her and a baby. Just subtly comment, "Oh, I missed the wedding," something like that. He's basically emboldening guys to do that. Why? To try to normalize the idea that if you're going to be happy-go-lucky showing a pregnant baby, you should have a man next to you. He's using his humongous platform to try to normalize that, just like Disney is using their humongous platform to try to normalize the idea that a man should be a stepdaddy, just like Kay Jewelers tried to use their humongous platform to try to normalize that a man should have no problem, because I guess they saw their numbers decreasing. They're trying to use their platform to normalize the notion that a man should have no problem getting down on one knee and proposing to a woman with a child. They're using their platforms to normalize certain things. So it does come down to a matter of, on our platforms, what will we normalize? And the thing has always been, well, okay, our platforms are too small. Well, they're growing, and there's some work I need to do. I got some elaborate plans I'm cooking up to grow my platform and grow my channel. But then there's, the people like Kevin Samuels who have broken through. So the lead attorney has essentially broken through. Fresh and Fit, they broke through. There's a lot of people that break through and say things similar to the things that we say here. So it's possible to break through and then use your platforms to normalize your ideas, because that's what I see here. I don't see this as a race thing. I see this as, yes, it is a liberal agenda to when one party is the party that's in bed with baby mamaism, and then some of those same people who are of that ideology are also producing animated short films. Yes, they want to inception a generation of people with those ideas. They want to inception a generation of children with those ideas. They want to normalize it. And I think him being black, I think that was really just a coincidence, because they wanted to sell diversity and everything too. That's why, none of them was white. The woman wasn't white and he wasn't white. No, that's why they used two minorities, essentially. They used an Asian woman and a black man. And they did that simply because, yes, in conjunction with them trying to normalize stepdaddyism, stepdaddy season, they're also trying to normalize diversity and all kind of other stuff. And I really don't got no problem with that, even though I do notice in commercials, it's always it's always like unrealistic diversity, where it's like you'll see people that like a group of friends with just an odd assortment of people that I'm like, they do not look like they would be at the game together in real life. This commercial looks fake, but they're all there together, eating, dipping toast, dipping the damn tostada chips in this new special green, this new special salsa or whatever, But I'm like, all right, they doing the diversity thing, fine. They selling us on it's all part of that umbrella that the left ultimately tries to sell. Y'all don't understand what I mean by unrealistic diversity. It's a family. Okay, it's a maybe I say that predicated on a Family Guy joke where they they had a group of people like introduce themselves in their role, like in a very corny cliche way, and then there was a black woman who was with a group of white women, and she was like, "Oh, I'm here just to be the black woman, just here for unrealistic diversity," because she just didn't. She looked out of place. She didn't look like she would be legitimately friends with them. That's what I meant by that. And I'm not tripping on diversity. Diversity is cool. Diversity is cool. I'm not railing against that. Don't lose me on that one. The Max Trucker in the building says Fashion Fit broke through when Myron got slapped on live by Keisha. Now they was already killing it before that, but I gave him a bump. And they got the door kicked in. They really broke. Yeah, somebody broke through their stuff too. Hey, number 16, use your words. You just keep posting question marks. I don't know what you're talking about. Use your words. Shout out to you, channel member in the building. Shout out to you, but use your words. I like that Goshen said unrealistic diversity. That's a new term for me. Haha. So I understand what his position is. And you dropping question marks. I don't understand what your question marks are about. Now, maybe I should ignore them, but I don't like to ignore the channel members. But maybe I should just ignore your question marks. But you're a channel member who's just dropping question marks in the chat room. I want to know what those question marks are about. That's all. That's all. Just let me know. Let me know. David says Mylene won. Yeah. Yeah. But all right. Different people with different agendas try to normalize different things. I don't think it's a black thing. Like I cited at least 3 examples of how they've done similar things. They've done similar things in other ways. They've done similar things in other ways where no black people were harmed in the making of the commercial, where they, had somebody doing the stepdaddy dance, or they had some woman on some strong, independent, don't need a man stuff. And that's why I referenced the whole Rapunzel thing. Like Rapunzel don't need a prince, don't need a man to save her, but then the men need to go and be stepdaddy. So you're telling the women they don't need men, and you're telling men to go clean up the mess from the women who got the results and outcomes of living a don't need a man life. That's why I brought those two together. That's why I brought those two together. Just looking at the overall messaging that's out there. Number 16 says, not sure I agree with the unrealistic diversity. Well, in the name of confirmation bias, start watching out for it. Start watching out for it when you see. I don't think it's unrealistic diversity with the guy, with the black dude and the Asian chick. I'm just saying in commercials, because they have an attempt to try to sell to everybody. If they want to sell a product to women, they want to sell it to white women, they want to sell it to black women, and it's something that black men, white men, Asian women, if it's something that everybody in one way, shape, or another can use or participate in, you see it all the time. You see it all the time in like a direct TV commercial. You're going to see a biracial couple You're going to see a racially ambiguous looking kid, and you're going to see the neighbors of a completely different race if the neighbors are in the commercial. That way they check every single box. It's like they bend over backwards to just put we are the world, we are the children. Everybody join hands, form a love chain into the commercials. They do that. I mean, and I think that when they do that, I think that's mostly about money. I legit think that's mostly about money. They've had their focus groups. They said that, hey, if we have all white people in the commercial, it tends to be this favorable because white people will buy it, but a lot of minorities will be less likely to buy it. But they probably figured out that put a bunch of minorities in there, white people will probably be equally willing to buy it, but the minorities will buy it a little more. Okay, so let's diversify the commercials. Like they have focus groups and they try to do that. And then when they do it, if you're really paying attention, you can look at it and see like, this looks a little contrived. That's all I'm saying with that. Shout out to Snuggles. I don't think I saw Snuggles in here in a while. Shout out to Snuggles. Where is it at? I actually miss playing this music.
Hi, I'm Snuggle. Snuggly softness. That's really less expensive.
Kayadu in the building. We shout out to Snuggles. He says, what's wrong with you people being classified as men that like to be stepdaddies to the women of the world? You all should be happy about that. Okay, now I don't miss you anymore, Snuggles. Go back to your cave or wherever you are hiding. Go. Out. Get out. Shout out to Obsidian. All right, so let's just deal with the last aspect of this. But I do want to say that, various companies, they normalize different things for different reasons, and it is what it is. I talked about what we normalize. I talked about how Kevin Samuels uses his million sub platform to try to normalize the idea, and he's put, like, he just recently posted and shared, some woman posted pregnant belly and just a picture of her in a pregnant baby belly, and she's trying to get a parade of congratulations with that, and he just subtly commented, oh, I didn't know you were married. Oh, when was the wedding? I missed it. Something like that. He's trying to normalize people doing that, to just try to inception into the head of women that, oh, this whole being pregnant thing without a man is not a good thing. He's trying to reignite the social stigma of it. Okay. He's using his platform to try to normalize that. Meanwhile, they're using their platform to try to normalize stepdaddyism. That's what I always say. It's a rhetorical, intellectual war of ideas. I always say that, and that is what it is. Now, one thing that I do want to talk about here, because a lot of people already touched on, right, with the first comments, that the fake SYSBM outrage in this. I'm sorry. The fake manosphere outrage in this. But the question that I have with somebody who's claiming, SYSBM or Passport Bros, would they actually have a problem with this? Would they actually have a problem with this? Or do they look at this and do they say, hey, SYSBM, he found him a suitable woman who appears to make him happy, even though O'Shea did a video on this, and O'Shea pointed out, well, let me see if I could play. Well, this ain't got okay, I did kind of wholesale still. For those of you who haven't seen the Disney commercial, here's some clips and snippets of it. Now, I should be able to still hear my voice talking while I'm playing these clips of it. This is a Disney short that they put out there. And like I said, look, they're showing a man appears to be happy, woman of a different race, and children, and they're promoting the notion, the idea for the holidays. This is going into their one of their holiday shorts that they're putting out there, where the brother is getting his stepdaddy on. For those of you that haven't seen it, I'm not going to play it because it just got copyright strike written all over it. But you can ultimately see it. You can ultimately see it right here. And it was I forgot to play this earlier, so I'm playing it right now. Hey, get out of there. Get out of there, Garthalo trademark. Get out of there. I did think that, man. I did think to myself, man, why they got to have him with like the same type of lineup, taper and beard game going as I got, man. They doing me wrong out here. they doing me wrong out here, man. I was hoping didn't nobody say nothing. Okay, I'll come clean. Okay, I do the voiceover. I do the voiceover work for the actor, for the character. I do. They had me come in there. I had to do some of the motion stuff. They had me put on the little green suit with all the little dots on it. I mean, y'all have seen it. That's me in the animated CGI character. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, but I was sitting there thinking, like, man, why this dude kind of just, I won't say he looked like me, but just complexion wise, haircut and beard wise, I mean, they kind of threw me. They kind of did me wrong. But no, the question that I'm getting at here, in this sphere, we all can generally say, and I had to, I don't want to use the word check somebody, but I kind of had to check somebody on this. When they pulled up on the sphere, somebody came up on my panel the other day, and he said that something along the lines, y'all don't want to let go of the strag or something, or the manosphere in general don't want to let go of the strag or something like that, something of the sort. And what I said in response to him is that the sphere is ground zero for men not dealing with that, not tolerating that, for men who saying no, don't stay away from them baby mamas and all that, the whole works and this or that. You know, the status quo was nothing wrong with coming in to save a baby mama. That was the status quo for a while. Herb BGS make an argument. He said that black men already saved the black community once during the 80s and early 90s mass incarceration. All the black men, the army of black men who weren't selling crack, came out, basically just took on all those kids. Just basically just came and did either the stepdaddy dance or just the live-in boyfriend dance and swooped in and took care of other people's kids. I've heard that argument be made. The status quo norm was nothing is wrong with taking care of somebody else's children. That was that was the norm until the manosphere came along and said, hell no, we won't go. The manosphere led the charge. The ultimate originators of that, far as I'm concerned. I didn't hear nobody saying that into the sphere. So here we are, a manosphere that was birthed out of the notion, the idea that you don't do the stepdaddy dance. However, here is a brother, and it's who's depicted here. He ultimately, I'm sorry, I gotta stop reading comments so I can get to my point. Here's a brother depicted here. It got him a woman of another culture, and I saw Pablo in the chat. I'm glad you're here. I started to email you. Started to email you because I did want your thoughts on this as somebody who has a woman as a wife from another culture who had children. Do you see anything wrong with this? That's a question that I want to put out on the table. Does SYSBM or Passport Bros truly see anything wrong with this? You got a brother who ultimately did, if I'm not mistaken, I would suggest that brothers do. And I don't know if anything is in the framework of that. It's like, hey, leave them single mothers alone. So I do want to start that conversation. I detest fat women more than a fit baby mama. Right on, Pablo. Right on. But no, the link is in the chat. Anybody can come up and give your thoughts on this. But I do want to hear somebody give their SYSBM um, passport bro thoughts and perspectives on this. Because most of the manosphere is saying, hell no, we won't go. This is some outright chicoonery right here. I do want to hear what the passport bro SYSBM brothers think about this. Paul Game says you can detest both equally. Or if you're just a brother in general who saw this, didn't like it, liked it, loved it, hated it, or whatever, whatever your stance, whatever your position is on this. Yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. The link is in the chat. Red Sing the Blues in the building. He says, donation. I'm in the clouds going to work, but I like the studio. I'll be listening to this. Shout out to you and thank you for your compliments to the studio. And I'm trying to find the shout out to Red Sings the Blues. Link is in the chat. We got 234 people in here. Make sure y'all go ahead and hit the like button. Make sure y'all go ahead and hit the like button. Man. But recapping some of what I said for those of you that may have made it in late. I didn't go the route and not going to go the route of look at how they're depicting black men. Because they've been working hard to try to normalize so much stuff, and I cited a bunch of examples to where it ain't even about race when it comes to this stuff at this point. Carter Drew in the building says beta Jesse Lee Peterson's voice. Amazing. Man, y'all just clowning my lighting. It's so funny. This is why I don't understand this stuff. The lighting was fine when I was doing this in my basement. I had the same studio lights. They set on my face just fine. I came into here and refurbished this place and made it into a studio. Put the same lights in here, and then it's just shining. Damn face looked like a light bulb. Hell, E-Black TV, you the one got that damn camera work that inspired the hell out of me. But hey, I be slow learning some of this stuff. I ain't gonna lie. But actually, if you must know, I only did two things here with the lights. The light that just actually built into this place that's in the center of the room, I got that light on, and then I got one light behind me. So there's a light behind me that just sort of put a light behind you. It could illuminate you and make you pop out, a little more. But we got a few things going on here. We got where we at? Indigenous TV says raise some other ninja kids, like Mac Dre said. Not my job. Shout out to you. I think it's some brothers who actually think that, who are of the view that it's okay Then go ahead and do the stepdaddy dance and raise somebody else's kid if the juice is worth the squeeze. If that woman makes it a sweet enough deal, if she makes that deal sweet enough, then yeah, go ahead and raise somebody else's kids. And damn, that sound. But all right, we got Freedman's Journal in the building. Go ahead, you got the floor. You
Hey,
got
what's up, Bernard?
what's going on.
I don't know, man. I mean, I'm trying hard to be incensed about this, but I'm not. It's kind of comedy to me. I mean, it is a cartoon, and I just it's hard to be, right? I mean, there's so many other from a negative image standpoint of how it affects black men and this and that. I don't think it is that much about race. I think it's a trial balloon, and that's why they turned off the comments. You know what I mean? I think reactions like this will pop that balloon real fast, personally.
Mhm.
So yeah, it is what it is. I mean, black men are still financing media that portrays black men as drug dealers and still romanticizes that. I mean, come on, right? You know, when Chaos talks about controlling our image, this, that, and the other, right? How Asians stopped the coolie thing. You know, you didn't have other Chinese people producing media that portrayed them as coolies, right? So if we're going to have positive representation of the media, let's start with the elephant in the room, which is we're still doing it to ourselves. You know, a
Bingo.
cartoon, I can't get all outraged about that. That's my
Yeah.
take.
Okay. And see, my thing is, I haven't heard anybody get outraged. I've heard people responding to the people who responded in outrage, but I haven't heard anybody outraged. Like one of the first comments was, "It's a lot of fake outrage about this," and I'm like, I haven't really heard the outrage. I've heard people give, fair analysis. I've heard that, but so maybe maybe I don't watch every channel or keep up with every channel, but I haven't seen exactly outrage. I've just saw people just say that, this looks goofy as hell. And there is an obvious, very visible attempt by people who make media, who make animation for children. Like I said, I still watch the animated films, the Disney Pixar films. It was one really good one called Onward that I liked. I even though my kids have damn near aged out of it, I still, I still may go back and I still will watch some of that stuff. And because they kind of make it, they make it for adults. It's really for the whole family. But anyway, it's like a kid movie that's for adults or an adult movie for kids. It's like it's a perfect balance. It's a perfect balance. I enjoy them. And they put okay, she wasn't trans. They put okay, well, she was it was a character. It wasn't a main character. It was just it was one of the police officers. When somebody got pulled over, she got out the car looking very androgynous.
They'll slide it in when they can.
Yeah, and she said something, and the police officer, who was actually, I don't even think he was married to the mom, but they were dating, and so he was taking on some responsibility for the kids, and he was kind of stressing out about it. And then the gay androgynous looking police officer said, "I totally understand. My girlfriend, when me and my girlfriend, blah blah blah. I had no idea what to do with her kids, but you often gave them some encouragement, and that was just that." And then he drove off, and that scene was over. But I was like, wow, they just slipped it in there, just put in a androgynous character that was built like a man but had breasts. But I'm
yeah,
like, it's like so. My thing is, they go out their way to just put whatever messaging they want to put out there. They put it out there. And so it's not about a race thing. I don't do the race thing with this. There are certain things that they're trying to normalize. They want to normalize marrying single mothers, gay blended families, whatever it is in the head of the person who created the product that's supposed to do one thing, supposed to basically just entertain children and families. They want to put other ideas and
Yeah,
and tackle whatever smuggle in whatever social issue they want to tackle. Put it like
yeah,
that. That's what they do.
it's going to reflect the culture of the creators. I mean, it
There
always
you go.
is. And it's, and Disney is not pro nuclear family. I mean, when's the last time you saw a nuclear family on anything Disney? And the thing is, they had what was that movie? It was How to Train Your Dragon 2. They had a nuclear family on screen. The main little boy character found his long lost mom after a whole bunch of years, yada, yada, yada. Right? Nuclear family in Disney. 5 minutes later, she was dead. 5 whole minutes screen time for a nuclear family on Disney. They are not pro nuclear family.
Let's see, for situations like that, I do give a pass on that if it creates like the legitimate controversy that drives the plot. Like if a character dies and then okay, and this is where I get real corny as hell. Like Finding Nemo, right at the beginning, it was it was Marlin and Nemo's mom, and they had their kids, and then all of a sudden the shark came and the mom died, and all the kids got ate. They put horrible stuff in the movies, by the way. But the only egg that survived was Nemo, and so now the single dad was trying to being overprotective of his kid, and it was basically about an overprotective father who didn't want to let his kid grow up. So the breaking up of family was necessary to the plot. So that's why I give a pass on that sometimes. I only like really stroke my beard about it if it's just really overt, like I said, the gay character going out her way to say, oh yeah, my girlfriend's daughter, blah 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 blah, and this character wasn't even a part of the movie, only had like 1 minute of screen time just to say, hey, I'm gay and I have a girlfriend and she has a daughter and we're raising her together. Yeah. It was like that was basically what happened. So when it's like that, I'm like, oh, they literally just tried to inception kids with some ideas that the kids probably didn't have, So that's when I'll notice it.
Oh, and side note from the chat, like The Incredibles, yes, they were a nuclear family. And look how long it took them to make another Incredibles. And Incredibles was a hit. Incredibles was a bona fide hit. And look how long it took them to make Incredibles 2. That never happens. And then what storyline did they run with in Incredibles 2? Right?
Oh, Incredibles 2 was a whole mess.
Right? What was the storyline there?
I'll tell you, because I told y'all I watched this stuff. Incredibles 2, after the Incredibles, they couldn't do the incredible stuff no more. Then they tried to re-enlist the program. So they asked Mrs. Incredible, Elastigirl, but Mrs. Incredible, to be the one to go out and do the stuff and get, they basically hired her. She basically had to go out and work, and Mr. Incredible had to stay home with the kids. And they depicted it as she was a superhero, kicking ass, taking names, and just killing it. Because there was a moment in the show where he was the one out working, and she was a stay-at-home wife. And he was, competent out working, and she was competent stay-at-home wife. But then when it switched, where she was the one out doing the work and he was home, he was completely incompetent, bumbling idiot when it came to doing her job. But she was able to just walk on water, kicking ass, doing his job. And so it was just so much girl power, female empowerment, the whole works all through that. It was a lot of I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar going on all through that movie, and it kind of distracted from the plot. I mean, it didn't work. It didn't work. It was just a deliberate I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar fest. But yeah, Judge Zilla, the Beast, in the building. What's going on?
Hey, personally, I think you guys are taking it the wrong way here. I mean, like, look at it from this perspective. But look over there on the couch playing Madden. What is that? It's Stepdaddy Man. Stepdaddy Man, able to have dinner on the table at an appropriate time. Stepdaddy Man, able to watch the children on mom's night out. Stepdaddy Man, able to deliver the children to their activities without having to pay extra childcare fees. It's Stepdaddy Man. Bernard Riley Bernard Riley is a mild-mannered man king, living his life in a one-bedroom studio apartment with one box of property and an ill assortment of clothing. And he is found later by a woman who gives him the opportunity to show his true powers as Stepdaddy Man. Stepdaddy Man, he only fears. The only thing to weaken his powers are the response of the children that say, "You aren't my daddy, I don't have to listen to you." Every time he hears that, he loses a power. It's Stepdaddy Man. This is a positive embracement of black men.
That's one thing that you can say. He was depicted as not non-threatening. All right. You killed me with that one. Unfortunately, Obsidian, you have the daunting task of following that riveting performance by Judge Zilla the Beast. You have the daunting task. Go ahead. You got the floor. You got the mic. Oh man,
That's not hard at all.
Okay, great.
It's not hard at all. At the risk of pouring water on the festivities, is my thinking is this is yet a example 4,000 something of the need for black men to take having their own media seriously.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it really comes down to. Black men have got to get really serious about funding their own stuff and making their own stuff. This is an age where and this is interestingly enough, I'm studying this right now. I'll let you all in on what I'm reading. It's a book called 1 Million Followers by Brendan Kane. He's a social media expert guy. And he and others, Gary Vee and some other people, have been talking about not only the ubiquity, but also the power of social media. And it's something that admittedly I didn't understand. I just jumped in, both feet and started, making content 6 years ago. But I never really understood social media. And so I dedicated myself to really being a student of it and really learning it. And that's the reason why I mentioned the book 1 Million Followers, because we have to get really serious about crafting our own message. I didn't see O'Shea. I know O'Shea did a video on it. I didn't see it. But what I would say is that this is yet another, shot across the bow that black men have got to get really serious about developing our own media and supporting our own media. Animes and animated cartoons and web series. I'm still waiting for brothers to put together something. I mean, Insecure has been out 5 years now. I was watching Black Gnostic give his breakdown. Him and Ron Wills, they give their breakdowns on Insecure, and then they do the the usual moaning and groaning. But my thing is, when are we going to put out our own version of an Insecure? That is to say, when are we going to put out our own dramatic web series from our point of view? See, that's what has to happen. I was talking to a brother online. I'm not going to say where, over on Facebook. I'm only a few days out from getting out of Facebook jail, so I use my alternative account to set up shop elsewhere, and set everything up. So, there was an incident where Kevin Samuels and I were having a conversation over on my digital radio channel, Mixler, which I'm soon going to be launching on a 24-hour basis. So, basically a de facto radio station. And so they want to dig up this, I guess it must be, at this point, it has to be like 2 years old at least, discussion about black female beauty and our views about it. And so there's this one guy who's, crowing on about, yeah, he's a liar, he's a liar, he's a liar. And I said, listen, man, grow up. Because he's a younger guy. I said, listen, son, grow up. Everybody lies. To quote, if you watch House MD, you know what I'm talking about. Everybody lies. That's not the point. The point is you don't like Kevin. Okay. I tell you what, since him and I are real tight, I can speak for Kevin on this. He needs honest critics. You're not going to get there on a Facebook forum crowing about how much he's a liar. You really want to make a real dent in this thing? Get in this game and be relevant. See, a lot of brothers think that because they're right, that they win. Wrong. You can be right and lose. It's not about you being right. It's about you winning. And in the Facebook game, in the social media game, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, it's about likes, shares, subscribers, followers. All of which you can leverage into customers. That's what it's about. It's about having shareable content. It's about having really good content. That's what it's about. It's about you making a better mousetrap than the other guy. That's what it's about. So I told that young boy, if you really got a problem with Kevin Samuels, step your game up. Take off that hat to the back. Take off that t-shirt and Jordans. Suit up. Make a better mousetrap. Get your camera game together. Make better videos. Have a better message. And then we can talk. Put out some deliverables that people actually want. People don't want to sit around listening to you crowing on and on about how much Kevin's a liar. They don't give a shit. Black women are packing it in the gills night after night on 2 platforms to talk to this man. You think they give a shit that he lied? Or you think they give a shit that he thinks that black women aren't beautiful? So what? So what? It ain't about you being right. It's about you winning. And it's about time that black men start talking about winning. So no, I don't care about Disney putting out stepdaddy stuff. So what? What are we going to do about it?
Right, but
because it's clear we don't like it.
How does he do?
So what are we going to do about
be a stepdaddy at the same time?
How does what?
How does he do all that and be a stepdaddy at the same time?
Who are you talking about? The guy that
the imaginary gentleman that he's having the conversation with.
I couldn't even hear him. What'd he say?
No, the guy you're talking to, how does he do all of that and be a stepdad?
I have no idea. I don't know if he's a stepdad or not.
Right. That's never mind. The moment's over.
My point is, at what point are we going to counter these narratives in the media?
Well, okay,
that's my question.
I touched on that. I talked about how, yes, when people put out their content, to use their platform, whether it's Disney making movies or a popular YouTuber, there are certain things that they try to normalize. And I talked about how Kevin Samuels, whose growth of his channel, it was birthed out of the manosphere. And I talked about how he uses his platform, he reshared something that he did, and he emboldened other guys to do it. When a woman posts a picture of her with a pregnant belly and no man by her, he said he would just type in a question like, "Oh, I didn't know you were married," or "Oh, when did you get married?" "Oh, I missed a wedding," or something like that. He's trying to normalize doing that, just like they're trying to normalize stepdaddyism, or guys doing the stepdaddy dance. Kevin Samuels has certain things that he's trying to normalize, and so his platform being that size, he can ultimately stir the pot like that. So yeah, it does come down to, yes, more platforms, with I guess ideology similar to ours, growing up, getting that big, and then ultimately we become the pot stirrers, so to speak. Our ideas, just like they could put that idea out there and try to inception everybody with them trying to normalize stepdaddyism, we can stir the pot and try to normalize whatever we think should be normalized. So yeah, I did touch on that. And with Kevin Samuels, we do see a shining example of somebody who broke through and they're essentially doing it, not making animated shorts like Disney.
That's just what I'm saying. Where are the brothers doing animated with our message?
Where are they doing animation?
No. Where are the brothers doing animation with our message to counter what we're talking about right now.
Right.
I don't think there's a brother with our ideology who also does animated short films.
Who's also independent enough to be able to do animated short films on his own to produce and provide for
So that tells us
the
that
sector.
we need to, that's something else we need to work on. We need to develop it.
Yeah, it'd be great if there was, like I said before, and we talked about this before. I said that when the things that we talk about become more widely spread, it will just increase the probability that there will be somebody with
Right.
our ideas and thought perspective who's also into making animated short films.
That's
I
true.
mean, are you suggesting that we go door to door at businesses and say, "Hey, have you heard about the Manosphere? Have you heard about how the Manosphere can help and improve your life and change your life?"
Even better, I got one better. We're on the world's largest platform right now. I got an even better idea. Why go door to door when we got a platform right now? We could put a clarion call out. I'll do it tonight on my show. We can put a clarion call out to brothers that do animation, and they can put our message out.
Yes, we could do that, and we also could essentially do what we're.
I mean, why be passive about it? You're right, Bernard. What we're doing could lead to a passive thing. I'm saying we need to be more aggressive, more offensive. We need to go on the offense.
I understand that. Yeah, put a call out to brothers who's into making animated shorts, and then we need to have that kind of department too, so to speak. Somebody keeps saying the Boondocks. Why are y'all saying the Boon? Let me ask the question.
I think
Hold on, time out. Shout out to Michael Merriweather. He says the classic O'Shea used to say "F them kids." I don't know what that has to do with anything. If I missed anybody's super chats, I apologize. I will read them all.
I think that's an excellent idea for a short. F them kids.
Wow.
I think that's an excellent idea for a short. Excellent idea for animated short.
That's actually in line.
Should Obsidian. Judge, what were you saying, Judge?
That's actually kind of in line with what I was saying right there. With that title there, like I in light of that animated short there, I think I need to change my dating profiles. Now, can somebody tell me how I can change my dating profiles so that it doesn't sound creepy when like a single man looking to raise other people's children? That sounds a little like, how can I say that without it being creepy?
You don't.
Just say you value family.
No, really. No, seriously. The less you say on a dating profile, the better. That's something else.
No, but I want to look. I'm out there. Look, I'm all about it, man. Like, this is black men in a positive light in America. I'm ready to go for it. So, how can I change my profile so that it benefits society as a whole?
It doesn't. It benefits
we
you.
need to get out there and get after this shit.
No, it doesn't. It benefits you.
Well,
you make a really good sexy profile, and you say as little as possible on it.
But I specifically want to be a stepdaddy.
Don't worry, you got plenty of women that'll hit you up that got kids.
Like I do not want any single women. Oh no, come on! I have seen the light. I have seen the light, and the light is that I am greedily enjoying my own life without taking care of other people's children, and that is unacceptable.
Mm-hmm.
Selfish, chicanerous.
Go for it.
So I need some references on how I can change that profile to like, I need like 5, 6, maybe even 7 kids.
All right, we're going to
hit up the women up there. There was one woman that had a kid, but she said if you're a Kevin Samuels fan, don't hit her up. So hit her up and make sure to tell her that you're not a Kevin Samuels fan.
All right, Mr. Z in the building. This is Black in Effect. I think Mr. Z, Black in Effect. I think I got your name correct. Welcome to the show. You have the floor. You have the mic.
What's going on, Bernard? I've been up here a few times, bro. Yeah, y'all go ahead and pay for these women, man, and their kids, man. Stop being selfish with your money. I'm with Juddzilla. Y'all, you sound like a bunch of losers. That's what you sound like. This is your job as a black man in America. is to take care of other people's children and have a smile on your face and look on lovingly at her kids and her while you pay the mortgage and probably the car note, and help her with her bills and her student loan debt and everything else wrong in her life. That's your job as a black man. I'm sorry, y'all, I couldn't keep a straight face. Yeah, so for all the people that thought this was not an agenda, who's the father in this Disney clip again? A black man, right? Okay. Just making sure we're all on the same page about how this is way bigger than just the black
He's not the father, he's the stepdaddy.
You're right. Dun, 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 right. You are definitely right about this. I was on a different platform and when this first was announced a couple days ago, and I hurry up and looked it up, and the comments had already been shut down on 3 of the links, but the Disney Africa one was still open, and of course people were ripping it apart. Guess what? That's closed now too. So yeah, they hear us. They hear us. Are they still gonna put it out? Probably. Because the agenda is way bigger than whatever the hell 6.1% of the US population gotta say. But yeah, this is to be expected.
Well, let me
know.
say this, and I want to throw this out there, and I do believe that when your platforms are smaller at the time, I do think making a lot of noise does make a difference. Like you talked about how they were forced to turn down their comments. I showed the little thing about how they made a version of Rapunzel who was strong, independent, didn't need no man, and it had like 5,000 likes, 3,000 dislikes, and a host of unfavorable comments. I talked about before how it was millions of small voices online that got Black Lives Matter to take down that their really true intentions that they had on their website.
You mean that manifesto? I mean that mission statement?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So lots of small voices making noise does matter, and so, but I understand where Obsidian is going about taking it to the next level and doing it bigger, but I don't want to discount the notion of if it's 500 smaller platforms saying something, they can all tally add up to hitting just as hard as whatever message was trying to get put out there by whoever used their big billion-dollar platform to try to put out some type of message that a lot of people silently in the general public disagree with. Well, they vote with their feet, they vote with their thumbs down, and content creators like myself and a lot of other people will vote by responding to it, and those thousands, if not millions, of voices get heard, and then they have to pivot. It's like the market is telling them that no, we're not buying what you're selling right now. So that does matter, but it does get to a point where it does get to a point where we eventually do want to get to the point to where it's not just a response thing. It's a on offense, putting our narrative and our views out there. And like I said, Kevin Samuels breaking through. He's in a position where he could do it, but most of us, it's still like a collective effort, like the little throwing rocks at the throne of the establishment, so to speak. And enough rocks, enough rocks being thrown can make them get up from that chair and change how they do things.
Actually, that's not true.
What's not true?
What you just got finished saying. Actually,
what specifically? I said a lot.
Yeah, the idea that only the big channels can make something happen in social media, that's not true. Actually,
hold on. I didn't say that. No, I said exactly a lot of smaller channels can come together as a lot of smaller voices can make one big voice and get a bigger platform, even Disney, to pivot and change how they do things.
I'm not interested in changing them. Let them do what they do. I'm interested in us doing what we do, and let the market decide.
Right. I know that's what I was talking about. I was talking about the market deciding and we doing what we have to do to control and dictate that market. And also ultimately understand you don't care about changing them. But if they are seeing through our voices that no, the market, the general public, and American people as a whole don't get jiggy with what they're not picking up what you're laying down. They're not buying what you're trying to sell. If that happens, then yeah, that is how the smaller platforms can ultimately get the victory until they get to the point where they're able to put out their offensive their offensive content.
Yeah.
But real quick, hold on.
somewhat
Mac
agree-
City
oh, sorry.
Productions in the building. He says, do you guys hold on, let me make that bigger so I can actually see it. He says, do you guys know about the black gay Marvel Eternal character? No. The only black guy in the movie has a husband. That's an agenda. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that.
I don't know. I think that's a stretch, but okay.
Yeah. Well, okay. Go.
I think that's
That's not a
just an issue of ticking off multiple boxes with one character.
Well, that is an agenda still. I mean, okay.
Moonlight.
Yes, it's but
Moonlight.
but not that. You know what agenda he's referencing? It's an agenda, but it's not the agenda that's always touted.
Yeah, they do want to check boxes. They want to be gay friendly, black friendly, woman friendly to everything and everybody in as many ways as possible. If you can.
But I don't think it's the overarching take the masculinity out of black men.
Yeah, I don't necessarily buy that one, because if you take your confirmation bias out of it, like for example, I cited the K Jewelers commercial. I think it was K Jewelers where they had a man, asking for permission to marry a woman, and they made it look like he was asking the father, but when they panned the camera over, he was asking her 6-year-old son for permission. I mean, no black people were harmed in making of those commercials. It was all white. So yeah, so I don't do the whole the agenda to try to neuter the black man. I don't that ain't my thing. I don't see that.
No,
but I do see
because with him they got 3 boxes, right? They got black box, they got fat box, they got G-Hay box.
Yeah. Everyday valet in the building. He said, oh wait, hold on, did I just read that one? Oh wait, no. He says, hold on, one moment. He says there is a guy who makes animated videos who has the same beliefs. B Mortels is his name. Oh yeah, B Mortels.
That is true. B Mortels does do that. Yes.
He may be willing to work on a project like this. Yeah, that's good stuff. Good stuff.
But why are we fighting again? Okay, I hear often throughout this space that it's touted that black men are the most involved fathers. Now, given that that's the case, right, and it's known out there, why would we expect that the women of this country who seem to be mysteriously without fathers for their children would not pursue the black man for those to be those father figures in these children's life, thus raising up the entire society to a level where we have not yet achieved? This is a positive, guys.
Oh my goodness.
Well,
Drew's World says Soul was about a struggling black man. Yep, I talked about that. Now the black man is a cleanup guy. Disney is all about agendas. See Marvel. LOL.
yeah, they're willing to torpedo a whole franchise. Shout out to Star Wars. Oops. That's what I was going to speak to. Actually, real quick, Judge, that we're not talking, and this is speaking to somewhat of what Obsidian is speaking to. We're not talking about like little mom and pop get-ups. We're talking about billion-dollar industries. They can afford to take L or two for an agenda. So I want us to think about that when we think about lobbying them to change what they're doing, or because I agree with Obsidian on that. These people could take a L. You're watching them take a L with Star Wars right now just to push an agenda. So let's be careful about how we speak about this.
Hold on, wait, time out. There's just something I'm a little foggy on, even though I watch Star Wars. What exactly agenda were they pushing?
That weird female empowerment,
just making not good movies.
That weird female empowerment agenda that they've been pushing for the past 3-4 movies.
I can help you out here. The argument, Bernard, with the most recent Star Wars films, the second trilogy, okay, of the Skywalker saga, right? Family saga.
Palpatine.
The argument has been that
Palpatine.
Rey she turns out to be a Palpatine. The argument has been that Rey is essentially a Mary Sue. That is to say, a female character who could do all kinds of amazing things that, were it male, would be silly. So, for example, in the Star Wars, the original trilogy of the films, both Luke Skywalker and his father Anakin both had to undergo some degree of training. In the case, and they both lost limbs in duels. Okay, Anakin lost a limb in a duel with Count Dooku. Luke Skywalker lost a limb against his father. Anakin Skywalker turned to Darth Vader. This does not happen with Rey.
There's no hero's journey.
Okay,
Exactly.
right. That she doesn't experience anything where she has to face a grievous loss. As a matter of fact, when Anakin loses his arm to Count Dooku, he's made instantly a knight, because in the Jedi trials, one of the trials is the trial of the flesh. And you know, suffering a grievous injury or something like that in you're carrying out your duties as a Jedi makes you a knight in and of itself. So he was promoted to a knight from a Padawan instantly as a result of his grievous injury at the hands of Count Dooku. Rey doesn't go through any of that. Luke Skywalker, when he lost his hand to Darth Vader on Bespin, you know, he goes through a major transformation that we see, you know, him come full circle in Return of the Jedi, and even more so in the second season finale of The Mandalorian. We don't see that same character arc, like Judge Zilla rightly noted. We don't see that same character arc with Rey. And that's been the big, that among other things, has been the major critique against the latest Star Wars pictures.
And you see, and I chalk that up, and I understand the people talking about the Mary Sue thing. I actually just chalk that up to bad writing, because they had Finn pick up a lightsaber. They revealed in the third movie that he was force sensitive or whatever that, you know, but basically
it's more than that.
He was a dude. He was just a stormtrooper who just picked up a lightsaber and started swinging it and was battling a Sith.
Bernard, remember those?
Which is not supposed to happen.
You watch the movies, right?
Yeah.
You watch the movies.
Yeah.
Name me a female character, right, that had a name that wasn't badass. Go.
Uh-oh. Exactly.
But that's the question. She doesn't exist.
Well, that's the question then, Bernard.
But all the male characters that had names, right, that were named characters, had flaws, had shortcomings, had the inability, right? They all had, every single woman in that show was a Mary. It wasn't just Rey.
Yeah.
It wasn't just Rey. Right? Even the little Asian girl, right? She overpowers a stormtrooper. A trained stormtrooper.
Yeah.
So how often is this going to be couched or touted as bad writing? When remember, Marvel is not Marvel, but the Star Wars franchise is owned by Disney now, right? So now you see that movie franchise. We see what they're doing with Marvel, with Captain Marvel, and then now we see this stepdaddy. So is this going to be continuously just it's just bad writing?
Oh no, I'm hold on real quick. Oh man, I'm kind of sold on what y'all was saying about Star Wars. I didn't get into the whole SJW, outrage about Star Wars. I was just looking at it like from the perspective where, okay, they made a halfway decent attempt with Force Awakens to make a good movie. They ruined Luke Skywalker and
Han Solo
in the Last Jedi. Well, no, I like what they did. See, that's why I thought Force Awakens was good, because I like what they did with Han Solo. How is he dumber as an older man than he is as a younger man? He wasn't exactly dumber. You could argue that he was the same. He didn't progress.
Okay, Arrested Development. We'll give it that.
You can. There wasn't a huge character arc
for how they did Han Solo either. But okay, we get it.
But anyways, just to wrap up my point, that I am so that okay, it was some SJW. just the fact that there wasn't a female character without a single flaw, or they. So yeah, I do concede that point, but I was chalking that up to horrible writing in the last movie. It was just terribly done at every level, making her a Palpatine, resurrecting Darth Sidious. Like, what the hell was they doing? It was just stupid. And then
fan service. It's all fan service. Fan service.
What?
It was all fan service. They run out of ideas.
That's why I just said it was just bad.
Death was horrible.
The reason why Rogue One did so well, even though that ostensibly was surrounding Felicity Jones's character in the movie.
She had flaws.
Right? But she had flaws, number one. Number two, she was part of an ensemble cast. So there were other people that were very important that were around her, including Diego Luna, who played Cassian in the movie, who she died with on Scarif. So it was part of an ensemble cast. She wasn't some Mary Sue just doing everything on her own. That just wasn't true. That's part of the reason
nobody
why
can do anything without me doing it for them.
Yeah. So and as a matter of fact, that's one of the series that's supposed to be going down now. Is Cassian is supposed to be, Diego Luna is supposed to be reprising his role as Captain Cassian before the events of Rogue One. So yeah, I mean, I get it. We get it.
Mm-hmm.
There's an agenda, we're pushing certain agendas. Here's my thing. The Black Manosphere needs to push our own agenda, and we can do it with this. Parallel parking. I was just talking about this last night online. Sister comes online last night, says, name me one thing that men do better than women that's non-biological. I said parallel parking. Everybody cracked up. We could do a video short of a woman having such a hard-ass time parking a little-ass car in a big-ass parking space, and the guy just watches, you know what, just get out the car. Get out. I'll do this. Damn it. Gotta do everything around here. And go ahead and park the car. Do a nice little video short there, making the point.
The cars do that for you for the last 3 years.
You think they won't not gonna mess that
There's
up?
a reason for that.
Last 2 years.
Yeah, you think they're not going to mess that up either, Judge? Come on.
You just have to take your hand off the steering wheel.
Really?
Yeah, we could do a nice little video short with that. Because I mean, I know I've seen it. I've seen quite a few times, women, can't parallel park to save their life. Huge ass parking spot, small to mid-sized car. They can't do it. They just can't do it. And that's
you play yakety sax in the background.
We could do all kind of crazy stuff in there. We could have the echo box, all kind of crazy stuff in there to emphasize the point. And to counter the Mary Sue notion. And we could do it with the stepdad thing. I'm serious, man. F them kids. We could do a short. It could even be a series. F them kids. F them. F they juicy juice. F their Lego blocks. F them kids, man. F them. It could be a heck of an animated short, and we can make it into a full-on. That's how the Simpsons started. The Simpsons started as a short, and then they developed it into one of the longest running series ever in the history of TV.
True.
I'm saying the possibilities for the Black Manosphere in this regard to counter these narratives in the mainstream media are endless. Endless. And it doesn't take a whole lot of, shit ton of money to do it either. Bernard, you got a nice professional studio setup that can go toe-to-toe with CNN.
Oh, come on. You don't overrate it now. I mean, it's okay.
No, it can't. No, seriously.
No, I'm with Obsidian on this one.
All you need now is that big board that I forget his name. Y'all know what I'm talking about. He was married to Dana Bash. All you need now is just a big
the CNN buddy. Yeah.
That's it. That's all you need now. And you straight. There are channels, there are people on social media that pull more views than CNN does.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's true.
Okay? Got bigger audiences. So that's my point. My point is it's the sky's the limit with what we can do here. That's the reason why I'm so hopeful and so optimistic. I could care less what Disney's doing. I could care, although I do love The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian is about close to red pill as possible. I love it. But for the most part, I could care less what they're doing. And fill in the blank. I haven't watched Netflix since they took off Luke Cage. I said, you know what? I'm done. You don't want to bring Luke Cage back? Done. Haven't watched Netflix since. Don't miss it. Don't miss it. I want to see Luke Cage. Put him back. I'm like my dad back in the day. My dad loved Hawaii Five-0. He didn't call it Hawaii Five-0. He called it McGarrett. Put McGarrett on. He's a man's man. Put that on. He loved watching McGarrett in his downtime. I love watching Luke Cage. I didn't think I was going to like the show, but I love watching Luke Cage. I loved it. And when they took it off, I'm done. Done.
But technically, isn't the Mandalorian a stepfather? A stepdaddy?
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
That's what I'm talking about.
That was
positive representation.
That's
he's not a stepdad per se. He's more like a surrogate father because
a caretaker.
We don't know his heritage. It's been speculated, but he basically is an adoptive father, basically a single adoptive father. So it's kind of like the courtship of Eddie Father in space.
Wow, you said, God damn it, I'm old.
All right.
We're
gonna switch gears a little bit because we got the one and only Pablo Frescobar in the building, and the question that I put out there with a lot of brothers in the sphere being upset, or I don't even like to just depict men as just, or they're just upset, they're just griping and groaning. You know, they're giving a fair and accurate critical analysis or objective and accurate breakdown of what's being put out there. That's how I try to do it, and that's how I think a lot of brothers do it in this space. But in general, a lot of brothers, they got a problem with that. But I was sitting there, I was thinking to myself that I wonder, do Passport Bros or SYSBM really got a problem with what's being depicted in this short? And so I asked that question for a reason, because at the end of the day, here's a brother, got a woman from another culture. She seems to be pleasant and they look happy. And what's the problem? I understand why people in the sphere who say no to single mothers would say that's a problem, but I don't know by what standard SYSBM or Passport Bros who says, hey, go get those women from other races, you'll be happier, you'll be better, you'll be blah, 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 blah. I don't know by what standard they would say, oh no, hell no, we won't go, this is a problem. So I'm glad Pablo is here to speak on this. You have the floor, you have the mic.
I cannot speak for all quote unquote Passport Bros.
Right on.
I can't. In general, this is my position on the baby mama. All right. In general, for a single man with no children who is under the age of 40, that's a no-go. That's a no across the board. Right? Now, take my particular situation, for example. I did not marry until I was over 40. My wife and my stepdaughter, the father of my stepdaughter is an ocean away from me. He has zero influence on what goes on in my house. None. It's physically impossible. So to try to compare my situation with some guy that's gonna marry Shaniqua from down the block is a fool's errand.
Mm-hmm.
I have autonomy in how I'm moving because of the literal ocean between them. So, not to mention the fact, first of all, Hillary's father and I agree more on child rearing stuff than me and my wife do. So there's that. And I still have, I have administered corporal punishment to my stepdaughter. I don't have to do it now because she's 17. But when I got her, she was 8. So that's my general answer. If my general answer is, I still think it's a bad thing for the community as a whole. Are there exceptions and outliers? Yes. I think that if you don't admit that, then you're not being a three-dimensional thinker.
All right. Would you say the general consensus, or I don't know if you could put a percentage on it, but do a lot of brothers who wear the title SYSBM or Passport Bros, are they of the perspective that it's okay to do it as long as you getting a good solid deal?
Again, I can't put a number on it, or
All right. Hello, Pablo.
I'm getting a call. Hold on.
That's your stepchildren needing some money,
Right. I thought it. I was like, well, there go the phone call. What you talking about over there? You give them too much information. No, this is a push, Bernard, man. This is a push, and I'm with Obsidian. Donating money to a particular channel that we have a really good animator that can actually put out something that counter this and kind of push people like Disney on their heels to explain why is this cool, right? Why is it cool to continue to depict men, black men specifically, in this light, where it's cool to be a step. You made a movie about being a stepdad, bro.
Well, an animated short, to be fair.
Well, yeah, true.
I don't know
true.
I don't know how they could build a whole movie on that, but so they just made a short with no
That's simple.
dialogue. Well,
He's a single man. I mean, a single man with no children himself. He meets this woman he falls in love with. He marries her, and now he got like she goes out to work, and now he got to be I wouldn't be surprised if they were to make this into a movie if he's a stay-at-home single dad, stepdad. Don't be surprised if they throw that in there.
Well, just going back to what we talked about with the Incredibles, it was a moment in Incredibles 2 where Mr. Incredibles was a stay-at-home dad for his own kids, but it was so many other things going on in the show in the movie to where that was just a subplot. Like something like that is normally a subplot. I don't know how it could be the whole plot in the animated movie, but I don't know. I don't know. But Pablo, are you there? Okay, Pablo, I don't know if he muted and I can't mute him. But all right, we'll revisit Pablo. Let's see. Pablo literally created an age and geographical measure to justify his choice to become a baby daddy. You mean a stepdaddy? Dudes want to look great no matter what their bad decisions are. See, Gabe, that's where you be trolling, because you don't have a problem with a man marrying a woman with a kid. You don't. So I don't see on what grounds you could. At least I've never heard you say anything bad about stepdaddies. So I don't know on what grounds or what consistent grounds what can you criticize Pablo. I don't know how you could.
The man prefaced his statement a million ways from Sunday.
Yeah, I've heard quite a few brothers speak to that. It's a better deal, so they down to go. they'll do it in that situation. In the situation where it's a better deal, they'll be the stepdad if they getting what they want. If they getting an attractive, cooperative woman who's in shape, they will go for it. I've heard quite a few say that, and so that's what I did want to tease out a little bit. I did want that not to be the whole conversation here, but I did want to touch on that. But all right, we got 204. Hold your thought. Whoever that was. Okay. 242 people in the building. I have no idea where we at on the likes. I haven't looked the whole show. Clicking on it right now. We're probably doing good on the likes. Okay, I haven't even hit the like button, but it's 159 on the likes, 160 now that I just hit the like button. 247 people in the building, 163 on the likes. We can surely get that up to 200 if everybody just go ahead and just use the power of their index finger or thumb and push the like button. I would greatly appreciate it. All right. Who was that attempting to speak? You have the floor. You have the mic. I think that was
Mr. Z. Bernard, man, like, I lost my train of thought because, you had more important and pressing matters.
All right.
But yeah, just go ahead because I lost that train.
Okay, I
Yes.
think Pablo is back.
Perfect timing.
Create your mute.
Well,
Pablo dropped again. He said, "Who else is getting those date Latina women YouTube commercials?" I got outed on the air when I was playing a video. I mean, I made it into a little pre-recorded video where I got outed. It just popped up to find the I think it was LatinLoveSolutions.com. I got a commercial for that. I was like, hold on, they gonna have everybody think I've been Googling that, but and because that algorithm threw it back at me. It was pretty funny. He said, I remember Bernard talking about that agenda too.
well, so
Like,
Bernard,
who
I
is
remember what I was
promoting for
saying.
those commercials? Okay, go ahead.
So, we I thought this space was supposed to, and this is speaking of what Gabe was saying, where I thought this space was about options, right? Making yourself the best man you can be so that you can choose which lifestyle and what partner would be best for you, what wife would be best for you in the future. I don't think that we supposed to be like jihadis about the shit, right? Like,
Where'd you
I
get that
mean,
idea?
and I'm in a relationship with a woman with no children, right? And it's looking like it's getting closer and closer to marriage. So I'm not saying that because I'm in that situation. I'm saying that
Yeah, but
because
where'd you get that idea from? I'm just curious. Where'd you get the idea that the Black Manosphere is supposed to be about one big self-improvement session, a la Tony Robbins? Where'd you get that idea?
Well, just from the overall atmosphere, there was no one specifically that said that. It wasn't, yeah.
Sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
No, I'm sorry. It was the overall atmosphere. It wasn't one specific person or any, any
That's what I'm
monster that
asking
was
you.
going.
Can you give us some names where you got this from? I'm just
What do
curious.
you mean? Like that said
Where
that?
did
No one said that.
you get that idea from?
From the manosphere. I thought it was all about being the best you can be so that you can choose the best lifestyle, the best woman.
I'm asking you where specifically you got that from.
What I'm telling you is there's no specific person that said that. It was
So how
just
did
the
you get that
overall
idea?
atmosphere.
How did you get that idea then?
Because that's what we preach here, right?
No.
We don't preach to work hard and improve yourself.
We just established that just the other day with Dr. Jordan Peterson's interview with Hafez of the Roommates. The Black Manosphere is more concerned with macro concerns, not micro concerns.
Oh yeah.
No, wait, hold on. That's not
I haven't seen that.
necessarily accurate. It was just that he spin moved out of asking a macro question about one thing and then answered a micro question that was technically about something else. He used that legitimate macro thing. He used that legitimate macro issue to try to just spin move into saying that if you can't get the woman,
you're arguing my point.
If you can't get a date, then you need to
you're arguing my
A,
point.
B, and C. But the question wasn't what do you say, guy? What do you say to an incel who can't get a woman and frustrated with women in general? That wasn't the question.
There's a really bad connection.
But that was that wasn't the question, but that was what Jordan Peterson answered, and that
right.
was
But you're making my point that the Black Manosphere is more concerned with macro issues than micro.
How does that make your point?
Because that goes to the point that this gentleman is saying. He's saying, I thought the Black Manosphere was all about making yourself into the best person that you can be. When I asked him specifically where did he get that idea from, he couldn't name any specific names or sources. I'm saying as one of the co-founders of this space that it was never about individual concerns. It was about surveying the lay of the land where we are right now with regard to Black women in groups.
Okay.
Yeah,
it was never a self-improvement association.
As a matter of fact, the self-improvement angle is a recent addition to the Black Manosphere. That was never into exception.
Okay,
that's a recent development.
When would you say that came in, Obsidian?
I would say that came along. It's 2021 now. The Black Manosphere 2.0 got underway 2015. I would say that came along within the past 2-3 years max.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a part of it, like embedded in everybody's. I don't know anybody who's against self-improvement, but it's not accurate to say that the Manosphere is all about it. But I think every content creator would agree that yes, you should do what you have to do to improve yourself, to give yourself better options and better becoming more successful and doing better and improving yourself just all around gives you just better options across the board, whether you're talking about life, career, business, women, across the board. So everybody generally agrees with that, but it's not accurate to say that it's all about that. But it is a part about it.
I don't want us to miss the point too, though. But that it was.
Hold on. I was about to say I touch on that from time to time. Like, and even when I did the Jordan Peterson thing, I took the time to pause the video to say that yes, you should be improving yourself in every way that you possibly can.
Now, here's the reason why I don't go, hog wild with it, is because black women use it as an out.
Yeah,
that's why I don't do it.
That's definitely true. I
don't want them to use it. I want to keep the laser focus on them. No, the problem is you. Lose the fucking chunk. We got 80% of black women that are obese. You're the problem. Lose the chunk. I don't care how you do it. Do it. Lose the fucking attitude. I don't
want us to lose the jihadi part. That was the main point I was trying to make. Is like,
we definitely need more jihadis.
Okay, speak to that.
Jihadis. We need a lot more. We need a whole lot more mujahideen out here. We need a lot more.
You naming them.
we need a lot more brothers that are going straight Taliban with it. We need a lot more.
We need a whole lot more obese. I won't say the person's name, but
I think to the point that Mr. Z was talking about, I think he was trying to make a point that there are some brothers who look at what another brother is doing with his options, with what he has on the table. They look at that and then they want to start to say, no, you're doing it wrong. You shouldn't be doing this. You should be doing this. They try.
That was my point. Yes.
So to that point, I think you I think you're on to something with that. It turns. I mean, the shorthand way to phrase it is a lot of dick policing. So
okay, here's my problem with that. Here's my problem with that, Bernard. How is a Negro that doesn't have a relationship gonna tell a man that's been married for a decade who he ought to have and what he ought to do?
Who are you talking about? Somebody who don't got a relationship?
Whoever.
Yeah, that's definitely not me. He's talking about Mr.
Hold on. It sounds like Pablo is referring to the guys who come at him and say that
No, I'm talking about, okay, let's not use me. How about Russell Wilson? Russell Wilson been married going on a decade now, and they still complaining. He should have done this. He got a baby mama. Dude.
Why you open that box? Because you know they hate Russell for marrying her. They hate that nigga.
You got nobody. No one. But
because he's right. He's right. He ain't lying one little bit. He's right. I mean, I even did a podcast on this. I call it the Russell and Sierra I can't remember it. Time clock or something like that. Doomsday clock. That's what I call it. Yeah. The Russell and Sierra Doomsday clock. For the past 5 years, and I get it. I'm with brothers on this. Would I have done what Russell did? No. But at some point, you start sounding crazy because these people are still together. They got kids. They're moving on, doing well. You sound crazy. Like, I'm telling you, at any moment now they're going to break up. So that's why I brought out the Doomsday Clock from 24. Anybody remember watch that show?
Yeah.
So I brought out the
countdown.
Countdown. Yeah. Waiting for this countdown when they're going to just have this meltdowns like this. It's not happening, man.
Yeah. Initially, the Sphere was right to talk about it. Because here we go, a single, childless, super successful man went and got a baby mama who had big public relationships with very sketchy dudes. That was worth talking about. Then she had a few moments where, she on Twitter complaining about her baby daddies. I'm like, you got a whole husband who's worth $100 million. Shut up. So it was some things that did need to get put in check in that situation. But like Pablo said, going forward, 10 years later, she did have that little twerking incident recently. But going forward, 10 years later, they married, they got 2 kids. It's whatever at this point. It's time to. I can agree.
Yeah, they ain't letting it go, Bernard.
Yeah, I don't got no more content for that one. I don't.
But
so
it's because
I can't agree with y'all on that one.
I'm gonna tell
think
you
about
why.
this. It's the projection. I'm Russell Wilson, and she had a baby with that hood nigga Future. Right? It's the projecting you onto Russell Wilson and Future onto the nigga in high school that pulled out a hose or the nigga in college that pulled out a hose. And a lot of brothers, they can never let that go. They just can't let it go. So I'll pause right there.
And I'm gonna give you my why. It's for the same reason that you have all of these single women who go out in packs, and then you approach the one that you want to approach, and the other ones grab her by the hand and pull her away from you.
Yep.
Because when you have large swaths of adult single people, they throw wrenches in the programs of those who want to have relationships.
So
because they ain't got shit else to do.
So
they got nothing else to fucking do.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, we got Mr. Theodore Waff in the building. Shout out to Theo. Welcome to the show. You got the floor. You got the mic.
I want to add a few points on this for the passport group. Commend Pablo what he's done. I'm not going to say anything good or bad about it, but it looks like he's a great father. He's doing the great thing. I know a lot of men who are married abroad, and they're all American, and marrying a single mother is very rare, although it does happen, and happens more often in my sphere than I know about it with the Philippines. My best friend who converted me to the passport movement in '91, his Australian wife utterly destroyed him, and now he's dating a single mother. He will not marry again, but he'll only date a single mother like that, but he'll never get married. Most of the guys I know were pure 100% dating women without any children. It wasn't even a consideration. So that's there. I'm talking, these are countries all over the world that I know about. I would say about 80% of the guys are white, 20% are black. So this is one to put my little spiel on it. It does happen that an American will marry, using the passport, will marry a single mother. But it's rare. It's just very rare. Most of the time, they just choose the woman without the kids.
Yeah. You got any? I guess I'll throw it to see if Pablo got.
I just want to be
anything to
add.
I
just want to be clear. I do not recommend, and I'm gonna say it again. I do not recommend men under 40 years of age marry a single mother anywhere. No. I was an older man, right, who was financially and emotionally and socially ready to have a family from the jump. Right? That's not, and I didn't have the interference that a person would have if they married someone who the father of the child was right there where they were. To me, that's a whole nother ball of wax. So trying to use my situation as a bell cow is ridiculous. No, I don't think in general it should be an option for a single childless man in general. No.
No, I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. Most of the time, I'm definitely thinking about Japan right now. The guys who are with single mothers, those are the side chicas. But they're married to somebody else, so they actually have, like, their main, as they would say, is a woman without kids. The country that I know that where dating or marrying the single mother is much more prevalent is the Philippines. So if you're going to marry a Filipina, there's, I would say, a 30 to 40% possibility you're gonna be with a single mother. Again, yeah, I would definitely agree with you. You need to be above 40. You need to be ready for it. You need to understand the entire legal process that's going to go through it. When guys are talking about using the passport, one of the first things I actually ask is, what is the legal process for bringing that woman over? How does the visa situation work? Do you understand it? And how does the interview process work at the embassies? And the guys usually don't have any clue. And I'm like, well, you're talking fantasy then. If you don't understand the legal process, then this isn't going to work. You actually need to do your fundamental, the fundamentals, and actually look through everything the way you need to. So yeah, if you're ready for it and you know what it's going to be, it's a good option. So anyway, that was my only 2 cents I wanted to add real quick. It's been pretty good. My manager just said get back onto a Zoom call, so I got to go drop on and do that. I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, thanks, Theo. Appreciate you coming on through, giving your perspective and your insights on that. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Get the likes up as we previously discussed. I think y'all got them up a little bit. We probably didn't we didn't even tap 200. We had 181 on the likes. We should be easily tapping 200 right now at this point in the show. But overall, appreciate everybody who's supported the stream. Have y'all seen RM in here? I did need to email her about something. I'm looking in the chat. Haven't seen her here. She's absent today. I don't have her email. I need her to email me because I got something I need to do. Okay, okay, I'm having issues back there. All right.
Hey, Bernard.
Yes.
Hey, real quick. What I do find particularly distasteful about how the community likes to pressure black men is when they get into the whole, well, if you don't marry a single mama, you're not a quote unquote real man, or you can't handle it, or, try to manipulate men into making that choice. I'm not against men who make that choice, but I'm definitely against people trying to manipulate men into making that choice. That I got a problem.
Right, and prior to the sphere, that's been almost the status quo. that's been almost the status quo prior to the sphere. So there's been great pushback on that, but yeah, it used to be applauded, it used to be praised, it used to be thought of, you're just a hero of the community. But now, yeah, people are viewing those things differently. I understand there are some situations where somebody might do that. Like, for example, I pointed out that I've talked about it before. My stepdad, he was a man. He didn't have kids, and he couldn't have kids, but he wanted a family, so he married my mom, who was a single mother, and yeah, I would say I benefited from that. But that was a situation where it was cool and it worked out, and I didn't realize it or didn't understand it at the time, but my mom basically just gave him full carte blanche. It's just 100% on board. I didn't even understand the concept of submissive and all of this. It was times when he was, in my mind, I thought he was on some absolute bull, and I'm like, Ma, like, for real, you just gonna let this dude, like he in here tripping, like, what the hell? But but looking back at it, okay, it was some moments where he was tripping, but at the end of the day, he was running his house, and he was he was doing what he had to do to get things in order. He just was kind of a dick about it sometimes, but at the end of the day, it was a net positive at the end of the day. At the time I was a kid and I didn't understand, but she married him and stepped back, and it was a workable, functional situation. So it can work out, but it couldn't. Nobody should be browbeat into that situation. That's where I'm at with it. If it can organically work out with two people who match, who meet each other's needs and requirements, then go for it. I'm not gonna beat up on an individual, but I will beat up on a society, a culture, or community. Going back to that macro on a macro scale, saying this is what men need to do. Like, no, I will. That's where I'm going to push back and fight back. And we got SKC in the building. I got the old logo right there. SKC been making retouching up my logo because I don't like the yellow. I don't like that yellow color scheme. So I got logos that match the color scheme of the studio when I do the wider shot of everything. But also shout out to SKC. I'm gonna have all kind of logo and branding and all kind of stuff going on around here. SKC helped me with that, as you always do. So make sure you hit SKC up if you need a little work done.
Yeah, man. The missus is actually interested in which logo you're gonna use, because there's two of them that she did.
Oh, well, I'm gonna go with the one that's most similar to the one I originally sent you, just because that it matches the color scheme that I want to go with. But for what it's worth, the one that I like the most, I will, if I can quickly put it on the screen. I don't know if I'm quick enough with the trigger to do this. I'm already proving right now that I'm not. But the one that I will go with, the one that I like the most that I didn't go with is the one where like the white strip came. It was sort of the same color. It had the little white strip coming down in an angle. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. It came down all the way through the screen.
Yeah, that was her idea.
That I liked that one the most, but it kind of took away from what I initially wanted. If I wasn't just so hell bent on what I was hell bent, if I wasn't set on a certain color and a certain look, I would have went with that one. I like that one the most. So she did good. So yeah, I won't even pull it up. You know which one I'm talking about. No, she did good.
Yeah. Because
one in the win column for Ling Ling. She did good.
Oh man, I'm gonna get her to jump on you one day for that one. But
I'm about to drop off real quick, SKC. Let me say this last thing real quick. Bernard, I think a lot of us struggle with the idea of things changing, and like, yes, a lot of this is ugly, a lot of this is not something we approve of, a lot of this is detrimental to family and family growth. With that though, there's opened up different ways of doing a lot of this shit, and there's no set way anymore. And even I struggle with this, right? There's no set, you do this and then you get this. It's a big crapshoot, and I think we know that, but the way we internalize the big crapshoot and the anger that we have sometimes, that's what I find interesting. And so when you look at this stepdaddy thing, when you look at the Sierra and the Russell and the Future situation, the way we react to it lets me know, and it speaks to a larger issue I would say we have with how these things are going. And I don't know if we could really pull it back. I think individual people, this is going to what Pablo is saying, individual people will have different reactions and find different places where, you know what, yes, she's a single mom, but she's great. And, I'll take that on at 42 years old, 43 years old. But maybe 30 years ago, 40 years ago, that was a no-go, right? It's just different now. I don't know how much you can dictate a bigger societal change. Individually, yes, you can have individual answers for your son or for your nephew, but a larger societal thing with the Disneys of the world pushing this, right? I don't know, and I'll pause right there. Thanks for having me up, and I'll try to listen in while I'm doing what I'm doing.
All right, thanks for coming. I appreciate you. All right, go ahead, SKC. You have the floor. You have the mic.
Yeah, man. I just got back. I knew at the very beginning of the show you were mentioning some things about this entire subject, and I was just curious, man. Where does SYSBM come in to any of this? I mean,
he black and she Asian,
and
that's it. No, that's SYSBM.
How so? It was just weird. I was wondering. I kept seeing when I came back, I saw some people in the chat. They were saying, throwing that.
I'm
like, what does that have to do with anything?
Hold on, SKC. Let's just say if I did a story on Drew Holiday's donation, how he takes like roughly $5 million of his salary and donates it to organizations, and like I pointed out that he donated most of it to Black female-led organizations. And while showing the stuff, it was a picture of him and his wife standing there that was white, and you would type in the chat SYSBM, so whenever you see any brother with a woman of a different race, you wave the SYSBM flag. So I was just trying to contrast with a lot of people in the sphere criticizing this. I was thinking that, hey, if you're consistent, you would put up the, hey, that's SYSBM. Look at him. Go animated Disney character dude. He got him, he SYSBMing it up, right?
Nah. I mean, okay. I wouldn't co-sign that, but I think that would be similar to since whenever What? I'm lost at Sirtai stuff. I don't know what you're
Okay.
talking
I
about.
know. Let me just read it then, since you distracted by it.
Yeah,
Whenever I
yeah.
hear SKC reference the missus, hate to admit, I hear the stereotypical Asian music. Oh, don't. No, wait, no. Did I get it right?
Is that the?
I don't know.
That sounds like the kung fu music.
I'm trying to think of the kung fu noise. I can't think. But anyway, SKC. I mean,
that would be similar. I guess what you're saying is I think somebody joking, and then at the same time, that would be like me going over to the Logic Sphere, who I see in the space. What's up, Ty City? What's up, I-45? That would be like me every time I go to his channel saying, "Yeah, man, Ty used to be SYSBM too, man. Look at his baby." And they're like, come on, people don't do that. People don't do that. It's like, come on.
How would that be similar to that? I don't. I'm lost. I'm legit lost. I'm not even trying to be obtuse. How does me looking at, whenever there's a situation and you did an image of a brother, let's just say if Dr. J donated $50 million to some HBCU, and then we showed the image of Dr. J holding a big check and his wife was standing next to him, you would type in the chat SYSBM if his wife happened to be of a different race. So all I'm saying is that with this situation here, where animated stepdaddy, who they say look like me, is in there with an Asian wife, I'm just trying to figure out.
You had to sweat all and everything, huh?
I'm just trying to figure out how is this not a hey SYSBM pop your collar SKC? It's SYSBM.
Well, what I'm saying is all of the guys that make content, they don't make content on stuff like that.
Fair enough.
So I mean, you could go on people throwing stuff in chat rooms or whatever, but the people who make content, they don't make content about stuff like that. You don't see them. You ain't gonna go to some SYSBM site of dudes talking about, oh man, look at this dude here, blah blah blah, and he's a celebrity, and now there's this long stream about this guy and his lifestyle. It's like, no, that doesn't happen, man.
All right. So what's your general thoughts? I mean, it sounds like and fair enough, you are entitled to not care or not think it's a big deal. I don't want to say you're punting on this, but just, do you got any general perspective on this? A brother married an Asian woman that got some kids, and he looked at least animated happy.
Yeah. I mean,
do you got any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I don't really watch the Disney type of stuff because
you don't
I don't
have
know.
to.
It doesn't appeal to me. But just on the strength of the image and what you described, I'm like, it's just more of the same. But I can understand how some people could say, oh yeah, it's an agenda, for stepdaddyism, if you want to call it that. But I kind of agree. When I left out, there was a guy that came on and he said, man, there are bigger issues so far as image that Black men need to be worried about past that. I think that's an agreement. I have to agree with that one.
No, I get you in that there's bigger issues. I don't like when people punt away from talking about something because it's bigger issues. I mean, it's always a bigger issue to talk about. I mean, the person who does a channel where he's focused on, I don't know, colon cancer.
Wow, I didn't know the name of the thing was Stepdad. God.
They went full.
So they said that is you. That is you.
Yeah, they said that looked like me. But yeah, they went full gangster with it. They did. But I don't like that argument when there's bigger issues. I mean, it's always a bigger issue. I mean, if somebody does a channel where they talk about the psoriasis well, okay, psoriasis ain't killing more people than colon cancer. Well, colon cancer ain't killing more people than this thing. And what about
yeah. Okay.
It's starving children in Africa. You know,
I'll give you that one because I didn't know that the title of it was The Stepdad. They got the dude on the God. Oh man, and it's man that's out there. That's out there. That's not a good look. That's not a good look, man.
What?
But
So my question for you, Mr. Reed King Coon, is this: I propose that we set up shop, our own little animated shorts and dramatic web series shop, and we start off with a short called "F Them Kids."
God, nah. I won't go so far as to co-sign that one either. Sitting, I'm when it comes to people that want to do the stepdad thing, I really don't have a strong opinion for or against, because I'm like, yeah, if that's that person, that's what makes them happy. Hey, you go for that, but would I go ahead and recommend it or no?
Yeah, but we can make that message at the end of the short. There's enough of an audience. We can use Kevin Samuels, for example. He's got to reach 2 million people. Matter of fact, he can even run it on his show. The F Them Kids short. The point is, we do not like the idea of this being foisted on us. It's one thing, you're right. It's one thing if a man makes the choice of his own volition. But we all know that's not being the case here. This package deal on them. F them kids, man.
Said what? What's that? Shout out to Rude Dip.
F them kids, my Negro. F them kids. Jello pulling pops, man. F them.
You got to start out there. That's the pattern interrupt, right? You got to start there.
And Lunchables, man. F them.
And I hate to detract really, really quickly, but Obsidian, if you would entertain me in this short excursion into the weeds, what was up with this dude wanting you to die?
Wait, did I miss something? There was an attempt on Obsidian's life. Like, what happened?
It got that bad, man. You didn't count on the people seeing that much. Dude is sitting up. Man,
you mean the podcast I just put up? It was from an interview I did the other day. And this knucklehead, this Parquet Cobra looking dude comes up there talking about, I wish you died, man. I wish you dead. That sort of thing.
Oh my God.
So imagine if I could put my voice. See, we could do the animation and I'll lend my voice to it. F them kids. F them.
Oh man.
We could just do a long rant. And if the animated, it'd be my voice behind it. Complete with the echo box and everything. F them kids. F them.
Oh man. Yeah, it's weird. Hey, but yeah, I didn't see the I didn't know that was the title of it. Like I said, I don't keep up with Disney and all that type of stuff. But yeah, if that's the title of it, then yeah, I would have to agree that's a bad look. That's a bad look. I wouldn't I wouldn't want my image on there. So now I have to make my next super chat. I think he's gonna have that guy on there with your face on it, but no.
Yeah, man.
Oh man. Another thing that gets me is like sometimes they say don't pay attention to the chat, but it's a lot of times people do. And I see like people like what's the dude like Al Boogie and some other dude Cannon Wiles, I think. And it's weird how if you was to say, hey, let's have a coherent conversation about certain topics, none of these dudes ever want to do that. And I just wonder why. Like, the manosphere has been around for quite some time now. And even when we are talking about this subject here, which is, I would say, it's kind of light, but it has higher, implications if it continues to roll out stuff like that. But when people see an open panel have the ability to, drop their thoughts or their criticisms of, whatever person's position as it is, you have the ability to come up and put a coherent argument up. But I'm like, so it makes me wonder, is the Black manosphere helping people who may have a low IQ improve? I mean, is it helping anybody so far as mentally to grow? Because when I see comments like that and I see the open chat and people want to continue to have like certain conversations, but they don't want to come up and, have the conversation, they don't. And I just wonder why.
Well, I think they're afraid. Like a lot of people are afraid that they're going to come up here and speak and not make any sense. And to that,
I ain't scared of none of you motherfuckers.
Oh, what's going on, OG Speed?
I was just about to bring OG Speed up because
that's what I'm talking about.
They need to buy OGJ Speed's course on how not to give a damn if you make sense or not. Just say it anyway.
That's what I'm talking about. At least he has the heart to do it.
Low blow, Bernard. Low blow. Low blow.
At least he has the heart
blow.
to do it.
Real problem. We all know what the
What's
real
going
problem
on, old man?
Hey, what's going on, Jay? We know what the real problem is.
Hey, what's going on there, Peebo Bryson?
We have a significant percentage of
What's up?
Black folk who are below the IQ line, and just reminds me of this clip from Star Trek Enterprise.
Is Degra a reptilian? No. He's a Zindi primate. I met one at a mining complex. They're similar to you, ape-like.
All right, hopefully that's it. That was short enough. I ain't gonna get hit for that one.
Man.
Shout out to Clue. I clicked off of the super chat, but it says something along the lines of oh, there it is. I found it. There it is. He said that movie Stepdad. It's just a short. They're not making a full full-length featured film on it, but Clue says based on a true story by Bernard Riley. Shout out to Clue, appreciate the super chat, and also shout out to what did I say? Aisha A. Okay, I guess that's what it is. He says boycott Disney 2021 this holiday season. Bump them kids. Still like Disney Pixar, man. They make good movies. I don't care what nobody say. But all right, we're gonna pass the mic to OGJ Speed in the building. And it sounded like you were talking on stage to like 1,000 people.
I'm gonna make you some money this morning.
Okay,
I'm gonna make you some money this morning.
Please
go ahead.
Okay, Scott,
because the super chat's been
Scott
rolling
Naywood.
Super chat's been
Scott
rolling
Naywood,
in slow. So if you can make me some money, I greatly appreciate it.
Okay, I'm gonna make you some money right now. I'm gonna make him stand by his word. You got Scott Naywood out there. He probably go by the name of Haywood. He said, how much would it take to get OG off the show? Al, I tell you what, it costs you $500. I get off right now. Put your money where your mouth at, not where your ass at. Put your money where your mouth at right now, and I won't even come up. That'll be the last thing you get. $500 in the cash out, and I jump off the show.
That $500.
Are you ready?
No. Go. I mean, cash apps are.
No. Let me handle the negotiation right now, Bernard. We'll start 500. What can you do? What can you pay?
Super chat or cash app? I was just saying he could super chat.
Super chat or cash app.
Well, doesn't the host have to set the rate?
No, I said no. Listen, what he said. He said how much would it? No. I know you would do it for $3. But we're going for the 500 today. A Stevie Wonder up there. We're going for 500.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So
all right. So until he get the 500, I'm gonna go ahead and handle it. I ain't gonna have dry spots. But anyway, y'all got a good subject. Hold on.
What if a band of brothers come together and ante up to the
500? Hey, that'd be just as good. Just as good if you wanted to have a choir with him. That'd be just as good. As long as we get 500. All right, going once, going twice. Come on, you got about. We give you 5 minutes to do it.
All right, hold on real quick before I pass it to you. The man I am in the building says just supporting the stream. Great studio, bro. Salute. Hey, appreciate it. Shout out to you. Appreciate everybody who support the stream. Shout out to you. All right. All contributions going forward for the duration of the day will be in the Kick OG off of the stream fund. You can. All right, go ahead.
I like to get it in. I like to get in the Al Boogie. I understand that I might remind you of the dad you didn't have. So if you can get 500, we can get you up there too. Because you always make negative comments about me, and I understand that. I understand that. But it's all right. You can join in with that $500, and let's make it rich this morning. Hey, SKC, I finally found out where you got that. I finally found out where you got that laugh from. I was looking at Green Mile last week. That man that they had, anybody ever seen Green Mile?
So
that's where you get that laugh.
As a bachelor,
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I had that laugh way before that movie was even created.
No, JR, $50 is not enough.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you where that laugh came from, OG. It's straight
Where
Joker.
Oh, that's it. All right.
That's it. It's really that simple.
Okay, I think the Joker back in the days when we were looking at Joker, he didn't have that laugh, but the boy in the Green Mile.
Yeah, I wasn't born back in that day. I know what you're talking about. That's that.
I understand.
Stuff. That's before my
I
day.
understand. You still probably in the left nut. But anyway, People Bryson, how's everything going with you?
It's going great, man. Out here working, getting to the money.
I have an announcement. Someone, Anon, put $100 up to
we need four more
off the stream. $100.
Need four more.
Allahu Akbar!
Allahu Akbar!
How much more is it going to take, Bernard?
We need four. We need four more.
See,
that's all we need.
You should have added another zero to that, OG.
When I say four more, I mean we mean 4 more hundred, sir. Everybody know that.
Let me properly acknowledge the gentleman. His name is Cash App is I think his Cash App name. Well, no. Well, it just says Yup 89021, and Anon is his name. I don't even know who this is in the chat. Shout yourself out in the chat so I can properly acknowledge you in the chat and possibly rank you up. I appreciate people who come through heavy-handed.
All right, 100. Need four more people. Four more.
Yeah, do appreciate you, brother. Do appreciate you. All right. Okay, go ahead. And shout out to D-Rock Den as well. He sent his customary $5 Cash App as well. So shout out to everybody in the building. All right, go ahead.
See, old man, this is where you get you take the haters and you make them pay for it. See what I mean? Because he opened his mouth. So let's get $4 more $100. And Bernard will have a good day. He have a good show. And y'all won't have to listen to OG.
Yo, OG, I'm curious about your thought on this subject. What do you think about it?
Go ahead, Bernard. I know you're gonna get it in.
No, I'll let you go. I'll let you go. I don't want to
go ahead.
colorize.
I know you try to get the waves in there. Go ahead.
I didn't know. I don't want to tamper your raw thoughts on this. My assumption was you hadn't watched none of the show until you clicked the link, so that's why I was like, you probably don't got an opinion on it. But go ahead, you can answer.
I'm pretty sure y'all was talking about stepdads, and I'm pretty sure you was talking about Disney movies or making a movie
or
animation about
right. You gotta bare minimum start when you wake up on the West Coast. Just rewind and watch 10 minutes before you just take the link and just jump in. Like
that would be an absolute for most shows, Bernard, but pretty much these shows go the same way all the time. So you pretty much could jump in the soup anytime you want to.
Yo,
All
so OG.
Well, here I'll play this. Hold on, I'll play this while we talk. That way, OG and anybody who made it in late can just sort of get caught up on the topic. On Disney released an animated short, literally called Stepdaddy. And these are just some snippets from it. I'm not going to play the video because it will yeah, I don't want to get struck. I don't want to get struck down messing with Disney like that. But there it is, just a clip right there. But so we could just let that roll in the background while we talk. So, SKC, you were trying to say something.
So OG, do you think that the stepdad is a good image for black men?
Well, in our situation, in the way the world is going today, I mean, it can't be no worse than having bow-legged Ned and Jimmy James being the dad. That's pretty much what's been passed out in schools today anyway. So if you can have that where your children are reading that in third grade, I don't see a problem with you promoting stepdads. At least you're trying to have a family with the opposite sex. So I don't see the big deal is, I mean, I wouldn't tell no young person to go out there and be a stepdad, start your own family. We always have said that. Don't get involved with a ready-made family. But, I mean, up to what we're looking at in TV and what we're looking at in books and what our kids are learning in school, this is not the worst alternative we could be looking at, a movie or animation.
So your position is kind of like, hey, it's already
same as yours.
It's already effed up as it is. It can't get any worse, right?
No, my position is same as yours. I ain't promoting it, and I'm not going against it. But I'm saying to the alternative that our children or even us as adults, the alternative. Look what we're looking at in the first place. Now we'll have a show about stepdads, but we won't have a show about Ned and Ned. You know, or Susan and Becky being in a family. But we have these kind of shows. And these are things that are running prompt in our neighborhoods, and our kids are being exposed to it, and adults are being exposed to it. But we won't have a show like that because you know that you probably get attacked for having a show like that. But we'll have Bernard, these shows like these because we're not hold, our feet are not hold to the ground. We won't get pushback. We won't get really pushback from this because you come on a channel like this and everybody will say you're simping or you crazy to have that kind of idea. We won't get a pushback from it. But these Bernard, other topics and shows, we get pushback from it.
Bernard, I have a question.
Let's just be real with the shit. We're going to be real. Let's be real with the shit.
Bro. I have a question for the Manosphere since they have a question for the Passport Bros and that's why SBMers. Which is worse, a baby mama or a fat one?
What about a fat?
You're talking about the same people.
What about a fat baby mama?
Yeah. I mean, which do they detest more? Which do they loathe more? The fat lady, the fat girl, or the baby mama? I'm just trying to gauge their level of, disdain.
Maybe they're thinking both of them are the same, people.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just trying to figure out because y'all got some chubby chasers in your midst, and I don't see y'all running them away.
Pablo, I like I said, I came late. Did anyone bring up the widow situation, and does that count as the same?
It certainly doesn't for me. A widow is not a baby mama. A baby mama is a baby mama. Is an unwed mother is an unwed mother, not a widow.
Okay, I just wanted to know. Interesting. Man, something.
But
do we put that into the equation though?
That is a winning idea. I'm telling you, it will go far beyond the black manosphere. There's a lot of guys out there that can resonate with F them kids.
But Arsenio, they've been doing that for the last 5 years. It ain't went nowhere. They've been doing that for the last 5 years and ain't went nowhere.
It's been going longer than that.
I mean, for the time that I have came in, I'm pretty sure it's been going on for longer than that. But I heard that way back in the day on O'Shea Channel.
Mm-hmm.
Many a guy said that. Matter of fact, some even went as far as kill them kids.
Wait, who said that, OG? Come on now.
No, come on, man.
We ain't got to kill
I don't
them.
give a damn about them. They went as far as say kill them kids.
We just gotta have an animated character that everybody can identify with, an animated brother, and it doesn't have to be really sophisticated like what you see on the Pixar. It could just be regular cartoon, and I'm doing the rant behind the cartoon. I'm doing the voice, and they just match it up to my voice doing the rant. You know, F them licking blocks, F them Legos, F those little Hot Wheels cars, F the Juicy Juice, F the fish sticks, and the macaroni and cheese. F them kids, F them. And you see the one sister there, you know, looking kind of mortified when the character is saying it. F them kids, F them.
But Asidia, if you really think about it, that's how the kids got here in the first place. Somebody was fucking.
Say what?
That's usually how the kids got here in the first place. Somebody was fucking.
We're trying to bend her over.
Yeah, I'm just telling you. I mean, you just really repeating how the kids got here in the first place.
That's all we trying.
Somebody brought that up in the chat. I forgot about that. Okay, so Bebe's kids was the same thing, right?
Yeah, you know what? We can even do an Obsidian cartoon show. You know,
but it was just much worse.
You know how they did the Jackson 5 cartoon? We could do the Obsidian cartoon. It could be an Obsidian version of me with my little Jeff cap on and all that. Just telling these broads about themselves. F them kids.
Why don't you just do Fat Albert all over again?
Yeah. It'd just be a very spelt version of a Fat Albert this time. And we could just tell them broads about themselves. I'm telling you, that would be huge. That would be a huge hit.
No pun intended.
Yeah. That would be a hit. Okay, so you have a Black Manosphere Red Pill cartoon show.
So I'm curious now.
That is a great idea.
Which one was worse? This one that's coming out or Bebe's kids?
Oh, it would be even better than Bebe's kids because we'll crank it up a notch. He was just talking about Bebe kids. We saying F them kids. F them. F them kids.
Oh my goodness, man. And then go ahead, Pablo.
You know, I asked the question on my show last night, and it came from something that happened over on Obsidian's show. You know, a guy came in.
Before you took your medication or not?
No, that was after. I was very sane. So
okay, go ahead.
A guy came on Obsidian's show and he was wondering, well, what is the Black Manosphere gonna do, and what's their goal, and where's this going, and all of that kind of stuff. And
one of those dudes.
Yeah, and I just said, well, I was like, can black men have any fun, man?
No.
Because we have any fun? Black Love is a community organizing project. It's like one of them cleanup days. That's what dating black women is like. You have the neighborhood cleanup. You're just going to do another job.
I mean, I enjoy coming up here and talking shit with Jay Speed and exchanging, insults and going back and forth. I like that. I like the virtual barbershop. This is enjoyable for me. Why do I have to quote unquote be building?
That's what black
Why
women
can't I just enjoy this?
They see us when they talk about these whole mule mammies, they're really projecting. They're really projecting that on what
Wait a minute, back up, old man. What did you just say?
Pardon?
He said mule mammies.
Mule mammy or something. What did you just say?
They do say that, yeah. They talk about black men see black women as pack mules, mule mammies, and all sorts of things. No, they're projecting. That's what they really see black men as. They see black men as painters, handymen, plumbers, cement mixers and masons, carpenters, electricians, guys who take a money pit rat hole house and fix it up. So this is the reason why I say in the Book of Obsidian that they see Black Love as a community organizing project. And this is the reason why I say in response, man, F them kids.
And Pablo, I remember hearing this stream where this guy was talking about, black people and particularly men. And like the conversation you were saying about having fun and all that. And they're like, oh, man, these men are derelict in their masculinity. It's like, you can't. But that is how they view the world. They view that because of the color of your skin, that you have to put this community on your back every day of your life when you wake up. And you're supposed to be, serious-minded into how to put forth the race. I'm like, man, get the hell out of here, man.
How about I travel because I want to rhetoric? Yeah, that's race. That's the race man rhetoric.
Yeah. How about I travel because I want to ride a jet ski in tropical blue waters? How about I want to go to?
I'm talking about.
Yeah.
How about you want to see something shaking, but you don't want to see the whole thing shaking? How about that? How about you want to see a fat ass shaking, but you don't want to see a fat ass, fat arms, fat neck, fat belly, fat ankles, fat wrists, fat everything else shaking? How about that?
Yeah. Because it's fun.
Yeah.
This just in. The brother Anon has put another $50 on the
we only
panel
need
fund.
Hey, we only
so this is the same brother that dropped this is the same brother that dropped the 100 earlier.
Yes.
Is this cumulative or?
So we got to do another one for him.
Allahu Akbar!
375.
Allahu Akbar!
Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar!
All right. Now, and I'm paying attention. Shout yourself out in the chat room if you wish to be acknowledged. Shout yourself out in the chat room.
What is the initial guy who wanted me out?
I don't know your YouTube name, whoever you are.
You know, that's a pretty good idea. We could do an animated show. That would be pretty cool.
I heard when I was
doing my own cartoon, but now that I think about it, the more I think about it, so you know what? We could really, as you put it, Bernard, we can inception the hell out of a lot of people on these different topics. Man, F them kids, man.
Well, one thing that was touched on, y'all brought up Bebe's kids. Now,
what's the difference?
I would have to go back and watch that, but yeah, he was annoyed by the kids, but yeah, he really liked the woman. But if I understand it right, the kids started growing on him by the end of the show, and so basically it ended in a happy stepdaddy situation. Correct?
Okay,
that's what I'm getting at. It was like the end result was the same, but it was still stepdaddy season all the same. So that's when, so when you're saying what's the difference, you're basically saying it ended the same way. So I think Bebe's kids was halfway of what Obsidian was talking about. I don't think Obsidian trying to give a happy ending in F them kids, the animated short. I think it's going to end with some kids crying, a woman standing there like this, and a guy just burning all the rubber on his tires, speeding off real fast.
Peeling out, huh? Donut out in the parking lot, getting the hell out.
And him swerving over into a puddle to make sure a little tidal wave splash on her and the kids when he
No.
I think that's how Obsidian wanted it to end.
I'm telling you, that'll work. I'm telling you. Look at South Park. South Park is huge.
Yeah, that's not great animation. And you already mentioned the other dude in the space. He already does that. A little web zine, a little 5-minute short. Shit.
You know what? You make a real good point when you say South Park is not great animation. It shows that if your story, if the comedy, if all of that is on point, the animation does not have to be great. That is a really good point, because South Park animation is just look like cardboard cutouts. Like, it's terrible.
Hey, I'll take it one further, Obsidian. You got to get rid of the Section 8. They got to get a U-Haul, move to Eagle Grove, Iowa, and work at a pork processing plant.
We got so much material. I keep telling people, man. People keep saying, Obsidian, why do you keep talking about BFF? I was going to say the whole word, but I don't want to do that because I want to get Bernard in trouble. Why do you keep talking about BFF? You have to understand BFF is an instant renewable energy resource. It is better than Tony Stark's arc reactor. We got constant renewable PFF. It'll never run out.
Goshen is saying, is this a permanent ban or just for the current stream? That is not clear. If it is for a single stream, the fee is way too steep. Look, it was OG's idea. He just threw it out there.
Look here.
So
you gotta set the terms.
Let me finish.
I was leaning with it and rocking with it. I didn't care one way or another. But if that $500 mark, too high or not, it happened, he would be dropped down immediately. And because it's late in the show, I would extend it. But this the idea of a permanent ban that just popped in my head. I don't.
And don't start playing pool pocket just yet, guys out there, because I will let him stand by. You know what pool pocket is, Bernard? Come on now, you've been around the barbershop.
The correct phrase is pocket pool. Pocket.
No, look. Let me rate these. Look. Hey, look here, people. Let me rock. Let me rape the chat the way I want to grape the chat. Okay, so it is the way I say it is. Yes, if you want to get me off this show, you can put 500 out there, and the person who said.
Even you laughed at it, don't you?
Hey, but think about what I said, though. I mean, as well as I can give it, I acknowledge something funny as well as I get it. I'm just like that. If you say something funny, I'm gonna laugh at it. But anyway, we got $350 more that we need to get OG off the stream. And if the initial guy would even just put up half of what he said he would do, then we'd be halfway there. Matter of fact, we'd be 3/4 ways there. All right, let's get this done, people. I know y'all don't want to hear me. Let's get this shit done. But anyway, getting back to the what we're talking about, animation, Beavis and Butthead was not good animation. But just like I say, it ran for a long period of time. Because the writers was there.
Cornholio. Did Biden do a Cornholio?
I saw that.
Jim Trucker in the building. He said, Obsidian, we have a brother that do animation in this space. Be more tales. You might can reach out to him. Yeah, we already alluded to that.
Yeah. If somebody knows him, have him contact me, man. We can talk. Because I'm thinking about it. Because I'm looking at my avatar and I'm saying, that would be pretty cool. A little animation of me in my, my little sweater there and Jeff cap and glasses. And I got my cane. Because somebody was saying,
it's actually very, very easy to do that. They got so many animation apps. I got some of them on my phone. I was just playing around with it. I thought about doing some thumbnails like that. So I just been playing around with it, but it's one of them called what is it called? Yeah, just go to the App Store, put in Toon Art, just type in Toon Art, and it could just take your face and they'll reanimate it. Yeah. So yeah, they're pretty cool. I mean, it's just so easy to do. You can take any picture in your phone and just put it in there and they'll
now it has to look like a cartoon. It can't look like just like me. It has to be me, but in a cartoon form. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And that
we
can
got
work.
You. We got you, old man.
Deal. And we can have different topics every week. We talk about fat chicks. We could talk about park apism. We could talk about what else? Pro blacks. We could talk about that. We could talk about a whole lot of different stuff, a lot of different topics, and do it in animated form.
I'm sorry. You just reminded me of that guy that he said, "I pray that you die."
Wait, hold on. Let's.
Bro, I gotta listen to that.
Let's back up. I missed that. And so SKC.
Can you play the clip? Can you play the clip, Bernard or old man?
I don't have it.
It's over on my channel. I made it. It's okay. So what happened was earlier this week. I think it was like Monday. I did a interview with Sweet Melody Speaks, right? So we're sitting there chopping it up. She says, "Okay, I'm gonna go to the calls." I said, "All right." So we get this knucklehead named Jerome. I liken him to Koba from from Planet of the Apes. And he could go in there and says, I wish you die, man. Next time you get sick, I hope you die. Because he didn't like what I was saying about black women. So I clown the hell out of him. I made a whole podcast segment out of it. It's on my channel now.
You said a guy named Jerome?
Yeah.
Is his first name, last name start with a W?
Yeah, I can't remember the last
that
white
one.
guy.
Okay, that guy. I know.
Koba. That's what I call him. I call him Koba.
We got an announcement, Mr. Bernard. We got an announcement. Scott Haywood. Hey, Scott Haywood, I understand you got an Obama phone. It's taking you a little time to get your Cash App on it, but we're going to give you 5 more minutes to put your money where your mouth is at and get that money on in here. If you were really serious about it or you was just trying to be a dick about it in the chat room, but you did put a proposition out there and I called you on it. Why haven't you sent anything in? Maybe we should block your ass if you don't even send $50 or $100 for the next week. Put your money where your mouth at, bro.
If we're gonna really make that a thing, that a daily,
the daily,
let's do this for a daily thing. Shit, but
hold on. 500 is too steep for a daily. But I was thinking,
well, we're gonna do this. This is the first one. This is the first one.
Hold on. This is the first one. So we winging this. When you said 5, whatever, we're gonna stick with that. But I think 200. I think 200. Every time OG get on the panel, if $200 is conjured up quick and commented, get him out of here. I would do. I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Daily ritual. Get OG off 200. I was gonna say 100, but I do want to make it a check because there's a lot of people that periodically drop 100. So I do want to make it more of a challenge. I want to see how much they really hate you. 500 is a bit high, but I want to see.
Yeah, but this is good for the first one though. This is excellent for the first one. And if y'all don't hurry up and get this goddamn $500 up on his channel today, I'm gonna start talking about saving the community. I'm gonna start talking about being stepdad. I'm gonna start talking about a lot of shit y'all hate.
I'm gonna go black on your ass.
Hey. I'm gonna drop you for free if you keep.
I'm telling you, this would work, man. This animated piece of work. You got people like Jay who are holding on to that pro-black piece for dear life. Man, I'm telling you, the cartoon can make a killing talking about the pro-black game. Talking about Ungaro Black.
The problem you gonna have with that in these days, I mean, it would have been a wonderful idea maybe about 20 years ago. But with the government willing to pay everybody $1,200 to keep their ass at home, it's gonna be hard for people to fight against that. They're already getting checked in.
That's a captive audience, and that's exactly the aesthetic that I want to get at, Supreme King Coon. I want to aim at that Jackson 5 early 1970s aesthetic. I want that retro look. Okay, I'm aiming for that retro look. And we could talk about these park apes. We could talk about these all these pro-blacks. Talk about the community. Talk about all that stuff. The dads on duty and all that sort of thing. I can clown the hell out of you for my soundtrack.
He said dads on duty. Good.
Dads on duty down in the community. It's like, it's good. They can take care of their little hell spawns. Good.
Man, I can't help but to ask. OG,
that's a market for that.
What were your thoughts on that whole dads on duty thing? Since we talked about stepdads,
I think
that's kind of like stepdaddies at school.
Well, I don't know how to game my mic up a little bit because I see I'm getting over talk today. And I know Ronaldo don't like for me to cut my mic up too loud, so I got it on medium today. But if y'all need for me to cut this shit up, I will cut it up to get that $500. But anyway, what I think about that, I think we have to lead as example, whatever way you want, your example of who you are. And I think that was, there's some for fathers stepped up to the plate. Why not? I mean, if it works, why get rid of it? It might just work for that small venue. It might won't work all over the United States, but for that, if it worked, why not keep it? I mean, that might keep you from going down the street there, SKC, and stopping at a light, and motherfucker put a gun to your head and say, I need to claim your car, in your wallet, in your keys. So if it works, it works. I mean, you're not safe in any neighborhoods today in the first place. I know you think you ain't worried about. See, that's what usually happens to people who don't worry about stuff. Shit just happen to them. And they don't believe it can happen to you until it happens, you know. And so I think if something is working, even on a small market, then let it be. And Cydio can still make his animation. Cydio can still make his animation.
That's one thing that I find that's weird when it comes to the community, as it were, is the use of fear as a motivation. So it's like, oh man, if you don't work on these kids, they gonna kill you. Well,
like, that's been used. Wait a minute. Why are you so amazed
about white supremacy? You gonna get your.
Why are you worried about? Hey, wait a minute. Everything. You are educated, man. Why do you are so surprised that fear is used in anything? Ever since you've been born, there's a segment or things that you're gonna be in your life that they use fear all the time. We use fear for other countries. We use fear in law. We use fear in everything. It works. That's why you shouldn't be surprised about it.
Anything. The community is going to fear me into anything. 13%.
No, I'm not talking about the community.
Is going to fear me into
I understand. I understand it won't work on you, but just because it don't work on you, don't mean it don't work on someone else.
Yeah, as long as they don't understand percentages.
Well, percentages are all right, because if you happen to be the one that in the reverse of that, and you are being affected by that, then hey, it is what it is. When your number is called, it's called, brother. You think you are into safety or anything in this world today?
What did we learn? The other day, Pablo, when I was talking to old girl? Percentages aren't real numbers.
Right.
Nobody says. Wait a minute. Nobody says. Look. Nobody says percentages is not real numbers. But what we got to understand, we live in a real world. We live in a real world too, my brother. And everything's don't fall on, because you got to understand the sample size, and you got to understand what percentages really is. It's a sample size. So you can be outside of that number. Me and Ronaldo had this conversation. We don't had this conversation before. Percentages and sample size is just what it is. Things can go outside that guideline. Yeah, they're real numbers, but you're dealing with the numbers that you your sample size.
No. Percentages are real numbers, period.
They're real numbers that you're dealing with on your sample size.
Okay,
hold on. Percentages are real numbers, period.
Real numbers that you're dealing with your sample size.
The implication here is that sample size may very well show that 65% of people engage in said negative action, but that sample size of 2,000 people that they polled or questioned or interrogated or whatever they did to gather the data, he's implying that if you were to interview or investigate 2,000 more, 3,000 more, or 5,000 more people, that those groups, that 65% could very well drop all the way down to 20%. So that sample size does not tell the story. That's what he's saying.
Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about.
Hold on, is that a still man?
Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. You can ask 1,000 people, 2,000 people that are Klan members, have you ever used the N-word or call a person a nigger or look at a person as a nigger? I guarantee you that sample size probably be 99.9, right? You can take that same sample size. Let me finish. Let me finish what I got to say. Then before you try to cut my knees off, okay?
But you would just have to take the hard R, and then it would be accurate.
Again. Let me finish, sir. You take that same sample size in them 2,000 people and ask the mainstream white people, have they used the N-word? You go get two different numbers.
Whoa, time out. This is very important. OG, RM, email me either at bernardriley99@gmail or bernard@thegrownmanhour.com. Either one is fine. Email me, please. It's something very important. Very, 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 very important. Email me.
Please.
Immediately. All right.
Please.
And since I interrupted OG, let me shout out. Damn, who was that? Ryan. I'm gonna say Ryan Kugler. Okay, Ryan Cipher says, "Don't forget the Lunchable. Oh man, those kids and those Lunchables got to go."
That's right.
Shout out to Ryan Cipher. Also, shout out to Indigenous TV. He said a real dad wouldn't let his kid go to that. Is that Astro? Let me make that bigger so I can see it. Oh, Astro World Festival, but a stepdad would. I don't even know what Astro World Festival is.
Hey,
that was a place. That's a place where people got stomped on. Yeah, that was the concert they had about 4 days ago. That the people got 8 people got their life taken away from them.
But yeah, RM.
Let me finish what I was saying.
Very, very important business, RM. Hit my email.
Let me finish what I was saying. Now, SKC, you will argue against what I just said, but then you can't see clearly what you're trying to make me see with real numbers. Depends where you take them, that sample size at. You usually take it where you will get the best. If you have a narrative, you go take it where you will get your best point of view from the narrative you're trying to get. So don't tell me they don't do that, because they do it with the Nielsen boxes. They do it with everything. So
you gotta
I bet you don't even know a person who. I bet you don't even know a person who even have a Nielsen box or ever had one.
So
but then they're always rating black TV shows.
I'll go ahead and make.
They're always rating black TV shows with the Nielsen box, but nobody ever know one.
Wait, stop. Okay, I want to start muting people. Let's try to go one at a time. So you made your point, OG. SKC is attempting to counter your point. Go ahead, SKC.
Okay, my whole point was just stating, just period. Percentages are real numbers. It doesn't. You entered the whole thought about sample sizes and all that as if that's the only way that a person can get at a percentage. I was just saying that people do not understand math and the very basics that a percentage is a real number by definition.
Well, most
ain't nobody disagree with you on that, but I'm just saying this.
Most women don't understand math. Damn it! Why are we talking about this? Most women don't understand math. We all know that. Most women can't parallel park. They don't understand the difference between the hand-eye coordination, spatial distance, and all that. They don't understand that.
So when I say to you, OG, the only number that I threw out was I said, no, I'm not going to be going to a fearful mode over 13% of the population. That is not a sample size.
How you know it's 13% of the population?
Oh, here we go. I'm
asking you. I'm just asking you. I'm asking you a question. Why y'all rubbing your head? Why, Bernard? You seem like you having a heart attack. When I ask him the question, how do he know it's 13%? Where is it? Wait a minute. Number one is, where did he get this stats from? Maybe that should be a better question. Where did you get this stat from?
Census isn't a real word either.
No, wait. Stephen Wonder, we ain't talking to you. We're talking to the action figure right about now.
This is an instant clip.
Okay, we're talking to the action figure now. I'm asking him, where do you get that survey? Where you get wherever you got to? Where's your resources for that number you just put out there?
Can't you get in a song by asking somebody? Isn't that illegal? Isn't that aggravated?
Hey, people! If you do it around the neck, you do, but not if you do it across the knees. Go ahead.
You can't ask people, man.
We already got that, people.
Aggravated assault.
Obsidian, I'm taking note right now.
I don't think you guys can hear me. Let me hold on. Like I'm trying to. Maybe I need to turn my gain up. Okay.
Yeah, turn your gain on. You a little low, brother. Little low.
I'm a little low. Okay, let me turn my
Yeah,
gain. I
you're a little low.
didn't want mine to sound like it's like you got your mic set on the on concert mode. Like it's like you. But anyway, are you like when you say where do you get the stats from that we are 13% of the population? OG, literally anywhere that stats are found on the subject of population tells us that. So like I don't understand, what are you getting at to say that? How do we?
Because I live in the real world.
Where do we get?
I live in the real world, Bernard, and I have talked to.
Okay, so hold on. In this real world that you live in, it seems as if you can willy-nilly just deny any stat on the basis that you just don't want to believe it.
Okay, the reason why I say what I say is I live in the real world. I got my feet on the ground, and I can tell you, I can talk to 100 black people, and I guarantee you, over 65% of them have never filled out a census at all.
How many of you are there? How many of you are there?
Now, you don't want to believe that. You want to believe that, but the federal government spends a lot of money. They spend see, you can laugh at this all you want to, but the federal government just in California spends so many millions of dollars by hiring people out to track people down to fill out that little piece of paper. Now, y'all like these things are not happening, but they are happening. And you want to laugh at it? Keep on laughing at it. There are a lot of people, maybe in your world, maybe in your real world, on the other side of the street, I deal with black people who do fill out that piece of paper.
Excuse me, Jason.
But I'm telling you, there are a lot of people who don't fill out that piece of paper, especially in our community.
Excuse me, sir, if I may.
Okay, go ahead.
If I may be so kind, you do realize that they also build into the stats and the counting a percentage of people that they miss and go uncounted are also. It's called standard deviation and
shut your mouth, Papa.
Plus and minus, brother. And you ain't the smartest motherfucker on this channel, okay? And that's in any. But I'm telling you, you can't. If you don't know something, you can't do a plus and minus. You can't really do a plus and minus.
The count, JSP. They build it into the count.
No, they don't. They can't. I'm gonna prove that to you right now. At a period of time in California, they were saying there was only 6 million illegal people in the state of California. Now, this is way back in the 90s. If you think I'm lying, this is way back in the 90s. Come to find out, 15 and 20 years later, they was pretty much 21 million off.
Man, the number of illegal aliens is a political lie always. That has nothing to do with it.
But listen what I'm just saying. That's that same thing that y'all are saying.
The census is motivated
the plus and minus of a censor.
That's
what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about.
To undercount
how did they come about that, Stevie Wonder? How did they come about that?
Huh?
How did they come up with them numbers?
One of the ways.
No, I didn't ask you action figure. I'm talking to Stevie Wonder now.
Okay.
How did they come up with them numbers that you just said?
Okay.
It was
the same way they got
inflated.
the numbers for every other count. I mean, this is foolishness. This is utter foolishness.
And that's what
are you going to base it on? Base numbers on? I mean, this is ridiculous. It is utterly ridiculous.
Could be 13%.
What's ridiculous?
Could be 85.
What are you just running down the street?
I'm asking you the question. Y'all don't want to deal with. See, this is why some of y'all topics are laughable. Because y'all are so many. Y'all got stacked so much up y'all asses. This is so much of your asses.
When OG shows up, the barber's
when it comes down to the real thing, did you have proof how they stack certain things in real life and give you false numbers? Do you remember weapons of mass destruction? I'm glad. If y'all had a conversation about that at that time, I guarantee you would call everybody dumb. Look here, we got the proof, we got the images, we got the statistics, we got this, we got that. The second largest army in the world. They fooled y'all ass and all that bullshit. And then when it come out, Colin Powell walks away and they put everything on him because they gave him the numbers and the shit to talk about. So you know what? Y'all keep on thinking every number they put in front of you is a true number. Keep on thinking that.
They're not
And
real
every 20 so years, so often, you gonna find out they was fucking you without grease or soap.
It must be maddening to be the lone sane man in a crazy world.
No, it's not. It's not bad at all. It's not bad at all.
The trucker in the building.
I'm comfortable in my skin.
OG, like, am I that hard?
I'm sorry.
Or y'all just be saying fuck it?
I'm trying to get you that $500 a day, Bernard.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
I'm trying to be as irritated as I could be to get you that $5.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. That was completely unplanned. He just came out of nowhere with that. So, and it got somebody on the job. Shout out to Anon who put 150 on it. Put 150 on it. On a normal show, it would just be 200. So, but since today was the inaugural get OG off the show day, 200 is the going rate going forward. DeMac the Trucker says new show idea, Bernard. SKC versus pro-black mathematics. Yeah, some crazy stuff going on here. I kind of spaced out a little bit, and y'all back and forth that y'all was just recently having. The sample size thing, I do want to go back to that when you talked about it's just a sample. Like, is there any evidence that when it comes to taking a sample, because granted, you can't poll, close to 400 million people we got in this country. Well, I think it's probably closer to 300. I don't know if it's anyway 3 to 400.
It's still at the high 300 million.
Okay, let's just round up to 400 million. You can't ask 400 million people their opinion on something, but do you have any evidence that when they ask, I don't know, 1,000 people, 3,000, 10,000, and whatever percentages they get from there, if we extrapolate, do we got any evidence that it doesn't extrapolate forward? Because all the evidence shows that it does extrapolate forward. That if they ask 10,000 people and they got this answer, if they pick another random sample and ask 10,000 more people, they will get a similar percentage. If they ask 10,000 more, they will get a similar percentage. It may fluctuate a little bit. Y'all talked about the the margin of error and all of that, but like, come on, man. Like that was a part I couldn't even get off of that one, saying that we can't trust stats because
are you making a question or are you making a statement, Bernard?
The stats are I'm asking a question, a statement, and I'm preaching a sermon. To say that the stats,
amen. Oh my God.
We can't trust the stats because they only asked a sample of people. They didn't ask everybody. Like, come on, man.
But that's how the world works.
You making that Bob Kerry argument.
No, I don't know who you're talking about, but I'm gonna put it this way. All right, I'm gonna put it this way. SKC, whoever put that up there, I'm not the man. I use a common sense approach. I'm not the man for that. But I got a brother who's a mathematical wizard who builds things for IBM, motherboards. Okay, listen what I'm just saying. He'll run circles around. He'll run circles around. Wait a minute. He'll run circles around everybody on this goddamn panel with his eyes closed on a bad day. On this panel on a bad day.
OG. I just want to point out.
Listen what I just said.
I'm
trying to get you $500, but no. Let me get you 500.
Hold on. I don't like when people say mathematical wizard, because mathematics is something that came into play that made people stop calling themselves wizards and warlock, and all the spooky magical stuff ended when people started doing real math and science. So I don't like mathematical.
Well, maybe a bad word. Wait a minute. Genius. Put it that way. How about genius?
Mathematical genius.
Okay.
That's fine.
He graduated from college at the age of 19 and a half. Okay.
White supremacy didn't hold him back.
No, stop again. But where he was Puerto Rican black, so that has a lot to do with it. But so the white supremacy really didn't come down on him hard, SKC. But anyway, he have built certain things for IBM, in-house patent. So if you ever want to do the mathematical genius thing, see, y'all brothers, y'all play with this shit. He lives this shit. All right. And he's still a young man. And if you ever want to go down that rabbit hole, I'll send your ass down the rabbit hole, but you go need a bunch of flashlights because your ass go get lost. All right. So what I said, and I said it true. So Bernard, are you saying for what the last statement you saying, you can take blue pill and red pill and ask them the same goddamn question that they both on the opposite side of, and you go still come up with the same numbers?
No, you would find out how many people if you ask people who are blue pill one thing and people who are red pill one thing, and let's just say you ask 1,000 people, you may find out that okay, of these people, 30% of them gave what we would consider a red pill answer, and 70% of them gave what we would consider a blue pill answer, and that would, and the data would reflect that. So no, you wouldn't get the same answer.
Okay, and that's what I'm trying to say is, and all them pluses and minus that y'all want to say that it's got a holy grail around, they never give you that incel. That is
holy.
That's right. I say holy grail around. You know how I am with words. That y'all want to give these people when they take these sample sizes or they do these types of things. You don't know, as you just said, if it was red pill or blue pill. You just saying them plus and minus of whatever that sample size is. You go believe it is either 3 points up or 3 points behind. But you don't understand. You don't understand that there's other categories goes in there that they might not even put into the mix.
If they do a non-scientific study, and what I mean by that is that they only, let's just say they only ask black men who are currently stepdaddies, you know, what are their thoughts on being on whether or not black men should marry a baby mama. Okay.
Did I ran SKC away?
They probably in that study, they probably will get some results that's upwards of 95% of black men says this, but they didn't do a representative sample. So that's what you're sounding like you're talking about. You're talking about a bad study that didn't do a representative sample, and that happens sometimes. And some people come on YouTube and say ridiculous things like 92% of biracial children where the dad is black is born out of wedlock because they did a study without a representative sample. They just found a bunch of poor trailer park chicks and asked them essentially just to shorthand the study. I mean, it was more nuanced to it than that, but these women were in extreme poverty. I think 90% of them made less than $800 a month, either $0 to $800 a month. No, 75% of them made $0. Then it was another 15% that made $0 to $800. So 90% of them made either $0 to $800 a month. And that was their sample size. So it's a such thing as a bad sample that can skew data. But normally when somebody does bad science, normally good science comes and refutes it and shows where it's wrong. So I think what you need to work on doing is looking at these studies and finding the flaw in a specific study, and then you could say, hey, we can't trust these numbers because this was their methodology. This is how they sourced it. This is what they did. And the flaw is right here. And that's what's skewing the data. If you do that, then nobody will be able to argue with you. But it sounds like
I understand that. Wait. I understand that, but I think when these conversations come up, I'm just giving my thoughts on it. But if somebody ever challenged me on any study, I would go and study whatever that study was, where it came about, what was the sample size. I think if we had a show like that, then yes, I could bring that up. But I'm just putting my thoughts in a conversation right about now, as same as a person who brings out and say it's 13%. He's not laying it down. It might be just something you believe or something you might heard or something you might be regurgitate. But I'm just saying, the same way you ask me to do something, these people who throw stuff out there, I can ask them to do the same thing, but then it becomes laughable when I ask them the same thing that you just asked me. And I'm gonna say this again. Most studies are political motivated.
Not all of them. Not all.
I didn't say all of them. I said most are political. Political.
The U.S.
motivated.
Census. The U.S. Census has been done since the 1700s.
If you
I mean,
want to find,
there's no better
politically motivated study,
And there's never been an error.
OG. If you see a study that this study was conducted by Glam magazine, if it's something like that, then okay, then it's an agenda behind it, not a representative sample. They polled their subscribers, their readers, who are women who probably don't like men anyway, and they asked the study, do you think your husband is nice? And then the results to the study is 95% of women say their husband is mean to them. 95% of men are mean to their wives. You know, so yeah, that's an example of a politically, ideologically driven study where they got some bad results. But when you're talking about census and CDC, and it's like it's some stuff that they
Can I ask you a question?
Hold on. It's some areas where scientists have done really good research. They got their grants. They have to produce some results that reflect reality, because that's their reputation. Their reputation is contingent upon that. They don't get to continue to do what they do if they just throw out random bullshit and get refuted by the scientific community. And so there are places, like I mentioned CDC, I mentioned census, where their job is to work hard to get it right, and they take as many possible things, as many possible methods they possibly can to try to shrink that margin of error as much as they possibly can. If you read how they do and how they collect a lot of the data that they collect, it's a really tedious process. Is it 100% perfect?
CDC is a bad example, my brother. They have fucked up so much this year.
I know,
CDC is a bad.
Wait. When they fuck up, how do we find out that they fuck up? The CDC normally,
because usually there's an independent. Listen to what I'm saying, Bernard. Usually there's an independent.
They check their own math and they find their own mistakes quite often.
Again, if you sit up and tell me right now that every time the government or the CDC out of Atlanta have ever fucked up and they check their own numbers versus an independent group comes out and do that same study and come up with different numbers, then I think you are having a conversation with blinders on.
Okay.
Because you usually don't. Wait a minute, the police don't usually check themselves in their own investigation when it's.
I got you on that. And so sometimes if a bigger company or bigger entity makes a mistake and a smaller entity does better work, and their work trumps over what the bigger entity did, that can happen. I can't think of a specific example when it has, but that can happen. And when that happens, normally the truth stands. And when it comes to doing science and doing studies, the truth normally wins. Even if it fluctuates in the wrong way for a little bit, it eventually gets closer to the truth. And even when it gets closer to the truth, it's not 100%. So somebody else figures out how to narrow it down, and somebody else may try to smuggle in some BS that's throw everybody off the scent for a little while, and then eventually it gets back to close as we can to the truth. But hold on, real quick. Actually turned into a good conversation. But Vin Diesel in the building says, mathematical wizard, he is on a roll today. Shout out to you. And you know what?
Do you want to see?
We have reached that moment in the show where I gotta go. I got some business outside of YouTube to take care of.
We ain't got the $500 yet.
I have to get to it. No, we didn't get it. But I'm sure
we got close.
I'm sure when the price gets you off the stream is lower, I'm pretty sure
$200 from here on out.
I'm sure people gonna step up and make that happen, so they don't have to hear us explain.
Hey, Bernard, I know what we can do better too.
No, you're not about to hold me hostage.
No, I ain't gonna be long-winded. It's gonna be very financial for you. You can do a $200 to keep me on the show or $200 to get me off the show. If the person who wants to keep me on the show spends more money than the person who wants to keep me out of the show, then that person had to up the ante.
No, I will only accept money to get rid of you, not to keep you.
It doesn't have to be. Unless you make it like his title. Like
You funny as hell today, boy. I'm telling you, you must have had some laughing pills today. Hey, you have a good one. Thank you for letting me on the show. Old man, think about that animation.
Thanks, Andy.
People, take it easy. Stevie Wonder don't drive no goddamn car.
All right, Vin Diesel in the building with the $50 super chat. Appreciate it. All right, gentlemen. We are out of here. Vin Diesel, I will probably rinse you up when I find your name in the chat room. I can't even. There it is, right there. Okay. Shout out to you. Appreciate the generous donation. Let me try to do that right now while we're at it. RM, if you ducked back in here, send me an email. Important business to discuss. There's Vin Diesel right there. Let me do that right now. Shout out to that brother. Appreciate you coming through hard and heavy-handed. All right. And with that said, gentlemen, we are getting out of here. Peace. We gone.